Oh shit! What's up? So I'm just checking the market, and oil by the barrel has dropped down to 80. What did they say? 80 something dollars. 85. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not down where I'd like to see it. What's up, pimp? So let's check this right here. We just fucking around, seeing where we at with the war today. You know how it goes.
Markets, and you can see where things are headed here, up 659 points at the open for the Dow Jones Industrials, which
whatever the
have
fuck
been
that
flat
means. I have
since
no
the beginning
idea
of the
what
year.
that down shit
But this
means.
news of the Iranian foreign minister announcing that the Strait of Hormuz is open, basically the back has been broken of this standoff with Iran. So we're glad to have with us Guy Benson, Fox News political analyst and host
Let's
of the
see
Guy
how
Benson
that shit
Show
goes.
on Fox
What's up,
News Radio,
Infowars?
and David Asman, Fox business anchor. Gentlemen, great to have both of you with us. David, let me start with you. Your reaction to what we're hearing, and
yeah, bro, within a couple of hours. So we'll see. We'll see. Gas prices really ain't moved much yet, but we'll see. It's a start though, right? You gotta start somewhere.
to the open of the market this morning.
Well, the Iranian got kind of topped out because everybody says that's why the markets are doing well. No, the markets did well when gold went below $90. That's when we're going to say about this, but it was just they were peeked in right before this hit. And I think that this just shows that Trump won. Trump won, and the Arab nations won. The Arab nations with which we've been united since his first term won as well, because they saw Iran as main enemy. Iran lost, China lost big time. They were losing money. They didn't want to switch to another supplier because they'd have to pay a lot more. The EU lost because they didn't pitch in to help at all with this. And I think Democrats lost, the one who were just totally over the top, saying there's no way this is the blockade was a brilliant move by Donald Trump. That united the United States with China.
Bro, and these idiots, even though you could go look this shit up yourself, right? When a dumbass redneck like me can go on here and look up Marine Tracker, and that fucking boat they trying to say traversed the Strait of Hormuz was still in the fucking port as of last night, and the news was still reporting that it ran the stockade. I'll never trust the news again.
China. It united the United States with the EU that didn't have enough jet fuel, for goodness sakes, because of the block. So in the end,
you may prove to be right with everything you said. However, the war is not over. Just a couple caveats here. The blockade stays, which means Iran could continue to be starved of financial money, any sort of economic lifeline. The regime is still in power. We don't know the fate of the nuclear dust or the fate or the future of its nuclear program. What we do know is that the ceasefire in Lebanon between Hezbollah and Israel, that was very important to Iran. So that is in effect as of today for the next 9 days and counting, 10 days total. Guy, where do you think we are?
I agree.
You on David's team?
I agree with David that the blockade has been a huge success for the U.S. military and a brilliant stroke by the Trump administration.
Bro, I seen some clips of that Bibi dude talking about Iran 2 weeks within having nuclear weapons as far back as 20 years. I was like, what? But you don't know that shit. We're American. We don't follow the fucking, so we don't know all the stupid shit he's done said.
I also agree that it appears that the Iranians have blinked here in a very significant way. That being said, to echo one of your previous guests, I take everything with a giant chunk of salt from Iran. They say many things, they lie all the time. So it's a trust but verify situation. And just because this seems to have at least been temporarily resolved in a positive way, and the markets love it, obviously, the underlying issues, the demands from the administration remain the same and so far unfulfilled. If the Iranians are serious about putting this to bed permanently and having any chance of the regime surviving, which I hope it does not, but if they want this to go away and maybe come into the normal world, so to speak, they need to completely abandon their nuclear programs. Totally. They need to give up what Trump calls the nuclear dust. They have to forswear terrorism, so on and so forth. The demands that the vice president brought to those negotiations in Islamabad were exactly correct, and they don't disappear because of this development. I hope that the pressure has now squeezed them so hard that they're willing to get serious. This seems like a cause for cautious optimism, but I'm still waiting and seeing what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, it's great news for the market. It's great news for the opening up of the oil markets, for transit in the area. You saw this very strong statement from Dubai, also basically saying, we won, we took the hits, because this is the first time we've seen some of these Gulf states, sort of mobilize their own defenses. They were hit. They stood by the United States in this blockade. And I think we do see a very new alliance, or a solidifying of that alliance between the Gulf states and Israel and the United States.
The last thing you said is the most important. Saudi Arabia may use ports in Israel now to move their oil. I mean, how extraordinary is that? Also, the other thing that's very different about this oil shock, the past ones, we were at the mercy of the oil sheikhs. At this time, the whole world I don't want to say at the mercy, but is dependent on what the United States does. Yes. The U.S. has become the key energy supplier and mover for the whole world.
The only people who are still suffering are the Iranian people, many of whom are still imprisoned, many of whom are online to be executed in the streets in Tehran, and they want this regime gone. They want all of this to hurt the regime so deeply that they can't survive, Guy.
Which is the hope, which is the goal for the people of Iran. We're praying for them. And it's so important, as you do on your show regularly, Martha, to highlight the barbarity of this regime vis-a-vis the people of Iran. The world screamed about Gaza, often dishonestly, when it came to civilian casualties. A lot of those same people.
See, like that shit right there, talking about dishonesty. Dude, if you agree with anything that's happened in Gaza as far as the people being eliminated, you're a sick fuck. What's up, Daniel? Listen, nobody deserves to die just because they're a Pacific race or a Pacific fucking color. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. What's up, Zach?
Notably silent about the people of Iran, and that's sick.
Okay, so one more note on this.
Bro, and I'm wondering,
as we mentioned here,
I'm wondering now that war shit's trying to wind down, what they're going to do with his ass.
Texas crude is down more than 10% just in the last 45 minutes. So the markets are moving in a big way.
There's a chance that it could go below 80 into the 70s today.
Well,
we would
like that. I think the break even right now is $60 a barrel is what they're saying. David, thank you.
That's what's up.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all.
Listen, but I will say this. When it gets down, go fill up everything you fucking got. Right now, I wouldn't buy no gasoline. I'd wait. Because this shit's liable to kick back off. It could just be a market play. There's no fucking telling, man. There's no telling. I want to go check out and see what old Hookstead been saying. He's about the only one that I can.
The Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. I'm filming this on the morning of April 17th, so all updates are up to date as of April 17th. We have a developing situation as reports indicate Iran might be receiving secret weapons from China with the sole intent of shooting down stealth B-2 bombers, stealth F-22 Raptor fighter jets, and the stealth F-35. So we've got a lot to get in here.
Well,
this comes just days after President Trump announced that China would not be giving Iran any weapons. Now we are learning they might be getting some of the most advanced air defense systems on the planet outside the United States of America, specifically designed to take down American stealth aircraft. So we're going to get into it. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What should we do? Is China lying? Can China be trusted? Or is China going to stab us in the back and help Iran? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the notification bell, all notifications on. You won't miss a thing. And then Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Reach out with whatever you got. Now, let's get into it. So new reports are indicating U.S. intelligence assessments assess that China is weighing supplying Iran with radars and SAM systems early in the war and might be continuing now. Reports.
Can y'all hear him or no?
also indicating that Iran was using satellite imagery, which we have talked about, from China. So we know that China gave them a secret satellite. Now we are hearing new reports that they are continuing to secretly shipping China secretly shipping Iran advanced SAM and radar systems. Now, this would be a huge provocation, a huge escalation. But what we actually know, and while it's not named, what I believe is that this article from Defense Security Asia from right before the war started likely paints a picture of what China is sending Iran. It is probably what they already sent them previously, which we likely blew up. We don't know for sure. We likely blew up in the opening salvo using cruise missiles. It says this is the reported transfer of China's YLC-8B strategic three-dimensional radar to Iran represents a decisive escalation in Beijing's military technical support to Tehran, with one defense analyst warning that the YLC-8B is one of the few radars of its types in the world which can continuously detect and track Western fifth-generation aircraft at long range, fundamentally reshaping regional air power assumptions. Emerging intelligence claims that China has developed multiple YLC-8B radar systems, each capable of detecting targets up to 700 kilometers, signal a strategic recalibration in the Middle Eastern air defense architecture that directly challenges longstanding assumptions underpinning U.S. and Israeli stealth-centric strike doctrines against Iranian territory. This is what it looks like, what you see on your screen right there. Now, what is this? What is the YLC-8B? It is an ultra high frequency band radar system. It can go up to 700 kilometers, but for stealth, really, it has a range closer to maybe the 350 kilometer range. And it is specifically designed to find U.S. stealth bombers, U.S. stealth fighter aircraft. Again, it is believed that they had some of these at the start of the war. Now China's resupplying them. When the war started, these would have been high on the target deck, high on the target list. We would have hit them with cruise missiles to take them out so that our aircraft could then flood in. But now during the ceasefire, indications are China is reloading them. Why is this important? Well, if you guys remember, on April 15th, just 2 days ago, this is what President Trump posted on Truth Social. China is very happy that I am permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz. I am doing it for them also and the world. This situation will never happen again. They've agreed not to send weapons to Iran. President Xi will give me a big fat hug when I'm there in a few weeks. We are working together smartly and very well. Doesn't that beat fighting? But remember, we are very good at fighting if we have to, far better than anyone else. President DJT. So he announced on April 15th that Iran would not send anything to Iran. Sorry, China would not send anything to Iran. Just 48 hours ago, just 2 days ago, the morning of April 15th. Now we are getting U.S. intelligence assessments that they are sending what could be their most advanced. It is actually known in China as the stealth killer. And this is why this ceasefire, while it allowed the U.S. to rearm, it also allows the Iranians to rearm. And and there was significant concern that Russia and China were going to send shoulder-fired missiles, other types of offensive weapons, defensive weapons, things of that nature. The YLC-8B is probably more dangerous to U.S. aircraft than anything else out there, other than maybe if Russia gave them an S-500, which we have no indication they have at this time. Now, furthermore, let's get to some updates with the Strait of Hormuz. This is audio of a sailor aboard the USS Michael Murphy with video from the guided missile destroyers. And we got a lot here. You're going to want to stick around for it all. Destroyers embarked helicopter flying over the Gulf of Oman as U.S. Navy diverts a merchant vessel while enforcing the blockade on ships entering or departing Iranian ports. U.S. forces are preparing to sustain the blockade as long as it takes. Let's go ahead here and listen to the audio.
Vessel Molly, this is Warship 112. We will be escorting you to your next port of call. Thank you for your cooperation. This is Warship 112, standing by at channel 16.
So this is a helicopter that launched from the U.S. warship, targeting this oil vessel right here to stop it from leaving the Strait of Hormuz. Now, at the same time, the U.S. did let a oil tanker leave. It says a Pakistani flag tanker, the Shalimar, has become the first crude oil carrier to leave the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz since the U.S. blockade took effect on Monday. So the U.S. let a Pakistani tanker through. This does not say where the tanker was coming from. Remember, Pakistan is playing a key role in ceasefire negotiations. The meetings were in Islamabad. Now in a Pakistani tanker loaded up with millions of barrels of oil has made it out of the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. Navy letting it pass, likely indicating it did not come from an Iranian port, but came from one of the ports of the U.S. allies on the other side of the Gulf. Also, very important, we made a video about this yesterday. The 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, mediated by the United States, is officially in effect, going into effect on technically, depending on where you are in the United States, late Thursday afternoon. That is now fully in effect and being enforced. So the shooting has stopped. While that ceasefire is in effect, we have a massive airlift, and we've talked about this at length, and this is something that is absolutely worth paying attention to. The United States continues to flood in resources in around-the-clock flights. So right here are 7 aircraft, cargo aircraft from Europe that are flying in the Middle East loaded with air defense equipment, men. The strategic airlift, if you want to call it that, of U.S. aircraft has never slowed down during the ceasefire. Every day, around the clock, more and more planes are flooding into the zone, flooding into the Middle East to get what has to get there in case this war turns back on, so that we are ready for whatever could be coming. And on that note, I got a laugh out of this. It says Commander of Iran's ground forces, Brigadier General Ali Jahan Shahi, says the army of the Islamic Republic of Iran is the most popular army in the world. I don't believe that for a second. Every country in the Middle East is livid with Iran after they bombed the UAE, they bombed Qatar, they bombed Kuwait, they bombed Israel, they bombed Saudi Arabia, they launched missiles at Turkey, they bombed all of our allies. That is just the fact of the matter, which really has brought more support for the U.S. than we otherwise would even have had. So the Iranians continue to be delusional. CENTCOM here also releasing footage and photos of F-16s over the U.S. Central Command area in the Middle East, continuing air operations, flying patrols, ready at a moment's notice. And then right here, Marines from the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit and sailors assigned to the amphibious transport dock ship, the USS New Orleans, support blockade operations against Iran. U.S. forces are ready and postured to enforce the blockade. So right here, they are targeting ships. And then you can see a sniper right there on your screen. He's got his face covered up, sniper rifle, suppressor. They are watching ships to make sure nobody runs the blockade. And then lastly, people were, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. You know what you guys' thoughts are. These are photos of food that is being served to, on people on the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Tripoli. That looks like a burger patty. We got some carrots. If anyone knows what this thing is, it almost looks like shoe rubber. I don't know what this is. I've seen a lot of different reactions to this online. I'm not an expert on Navy food, but if you guys know if this is normal, not normal, it looks like we've got some fajita meat here, some a tortilla. If you guys know what you guys think about this, let me know in the comments below. I've seen a lot of mixed reactions, but as of me filming this on the morning of April 17th, we now have China reportedly either already has or is in the process of supplying Iran with stealth killer radar. Again, it's unclear if this stuff even works. They had it before. We just blew it up immediately. It would seem likely we're going to blow it up again, but
More
it does come
likely
after
that's
China told
canned
Trump that they weren't going to get involved. I told everyone you can't trust the Chinese. So we got a lot of updates. I will continue to monitor the situation. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time with more updates.
That's what's up.
Getting hard.
I'm glad to hear this shit is winding down, but I don't know how long it'll hold, though. We'll see. Because, you know, one thing, like everybody was saying as far as these specialists and all, Trump is very good at manipulating the markets. Very good at it. And how do you call that a win, though? Right? The Strait. I mean, and I'm not knocking Trump at all, but the Straits was open. They didn't have $20 billion coming to them, and gas was down about $2.30 a gallon. How in the fuck do you call this a win? Even though we got supposedly we're gonna get the nuclear dust. I don't see how you call that a win. It's awful fucking expensive. What's up, Ford? What's up, Jay Prez? I bet y'all got that little fucker over there all riled up, don't you, Jay Prez? Huh?
All right, let's get a look at the markets, and you can.
The Iranian foreign minister on X says that the Strait of Hormuz is open for all commercial.
Anybody that disagrees
and we
with
have
what the
some
fuck
breaking
they're
news and
doing
war with Iran.
to that little motherfucker is stupid. Especially as much as he's fucked with people and tried to get people fired, and he's in the wind. I bet he fucking is. Fuck him, man. He deserves every bit of it. He deserves every fucking bit of it. Calling people's jobs and fucking the shit's crazy. And then before anybody can even say anything about it, he claims it's happening to him. It's like, what the fuck? And some dumb motherfuckers believe that shit. Let's see what they talk about.
Because I'm running for the presidency. I'm here because I'm personally tired of seeing this great country of ours being ripped off.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem. The real culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we
in,
take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations. And I mean grab it and keep it and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
Oh, Trump
Because
got
I'm
some balls now. You can't deny that. But it's easy to have balls when you're not playing with your own life, right? Let's see what this idiot talking about.
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a fun, fast.
Something happened inside the Iranian military last week that their commanders are not talking about. Something that erased years of preparation, billions of dollars of defense infrastructure, and what Iran thought was its most reliable advantage in a matter of hours. And the terrifying part? Iran never even saw it coming. Because the United States didn't just show up to this fight with weapons Iran knew how to defend against. America showed up with weapons Iran had never encountered before. Brand new. Never used in combat. Never tested
This is
against
AI
the real
right
enemy.
here.
Until now. 3 weapons. 3 historic firsts. And each one of them is a direct signal. Not just to Iran, but to every nation on earth watching this conflict unfold. That the United States military just crossed into an entirely new era of warfare. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what just changed and why it matters far beyond Iran's borders. I'm States News. Let's get into it. Let's start with the weapon that military analysts are calling the most significant development in American ground-based strike capability in a generation. It's called the Precision Strike Missile, the PRSM. And if you haven't heard that name before, you're going to be hearing it a lot more in the years to come. To understand why the PRSM is such a big deal, you have to understand what it replaced and why replacing it was so urgently necessary. For more than 30 years, the backbone
See, I
of
can't believe
American
anything
ground-based
this video
precision
says.
strike
This
capability.
motherfucker's AI. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. He won't be free long. They'll catch his ass.
And dignity. I reiterate that I am prepared to take the full responsibility for all the choices I made, and I'm prepared to go at any length to protect my home soil and protect my own people and salvage my country. My mission is clear. and one, to salvage the homeland and its people. And this is what I'm going to achieve with absolute patriotic and ethical responsibility. And I'm certain that you are all with me in secret and in the open, with your minds and your hearts. You are on my side simply for the reason that I know the magnitude of sacrifices made by you. And I
So
know
let's watch how long Bibi lets his shit lay dormant before this fucker does something. You know, when I found out that he's what fucked our first deal up with Iran a few weeks back, I just don't understand why we still have any kind of dealings with that dude, right? He don't give a fuck about nobody but himself. And you watch some of them videos coming out of Israel about them people that's in the military over there talking about killing babies and women and shit like it's what they're supposed to do from God. It's fucking sickening. Even the people over there, they got it in their head that these people are not people. They're the Palestinians are not people, they're animals. And it's how can you claim to be religious and say you're God's chosen people and you don't respect the other life that God's created on this earth? That don't make sense to me.
of how to lose a dear one, a loved one, or your own home or sense of security. With absolute hope, I say, pain cannot remain our destiny. And I am renewing with the voice of pledge and promise that we will not achieve any agreement that may undermine our established rights or injure the dignity of our steadfast people, or give up a grain of soil of our homeland. Our objective is clear: to put an end to the Israeli aggression on our people, on our homeland, and the total withdrawal of the Israelis.
You would think that would make them feel different, Tex, after being done the same way from the Nazis. But is that why the Nazis done them that way? Is because that's the way that they believe to start with? Is that really what happened over there? I mean, and I'm not taking up for that shit over there, but it makes you wonder. You know, they didn't just get that way, man.
Prevailing of our authority across every inch, and the return of all.
And you know, they got a popular streamer over there, right? They got a popular streamer over there, and one of the first things out of his mouth is about the Iranian people. I don't know. I have to find it, but he said something about y'all suppress gay people. And it's like, what are you fucking talking about, dude? It was just weird.
The strength and might of our homeland lies in the awareness of people, its unity and coexistence in line with our patriotic charter. One state with total devotion and loyalty. One constitution to which we all resort. One rule of law and under which we all, or by which we are all governed, and one armed forces to safeguard and protect us all. Do not allow the malicious voices to sow the seeds of rift. Do not be misled by those who are playing on the harps of your emotions to build their glory at the expense of your stability. Live above the fantasies of those misleading. And what we are doing is for your safety, protection, and your dignified, peaceful, stable life. And in order to provide,
we'll come back to this. Watch this video here. This lady went over there, and I guess she's a investigating journalist. Your browser has lost connection to audio. Try and share it again. All right, let's stop sharing it. Let's try it again. I don't know what's going on with that shit. Y'all let me know if you can hear it.
Has to isolate this rogue, apartheid, genocidal, maniac, serial killing, pathologically lying state, isolate it, shame anyone who goes there, academics, celebrities, politicians, and they've been exposed for what they are. And Zionism's on its last leg. It only exists by the weight of its propaganda, and that propaganda has collapsed entirely. The world sees Israel for what it is, and it can't last for long in its current state. You cannot expect change in a society this far gone. It is full-throated fascist. And that's why they act the way they
What's
do.
up,
With
girls?
full, total impunity. Because they have no humanity left. This is a society so far gone with protection of a military empire, with hatred in their hearts. And we're seeing essentially the Fourth Reich today marching forward, and there's no allied forces coming to save us. The Israeli Knesset just passed a law allowing the execution of Palestinian prisoners, but not Israelis. This is the true face of apartheid Israel. But this is nothing new. I saw this firsthand when I was in Israel back in 2016. Full-throated fascism.
You can't deal with these people. There's no need to try. There's no need to talk to them. There's only one way. Like, I would carpet bomb them.
You would carpet bomb them?
It's the only way you could deal with it.
I didn't realize this. I didn't realize how viscerally, grotesquely genocidal Israelis were. How openly fascist they would be to anyone.
Jews shouldn't marry Arabs.
Shouldn't marry Arabs. Why do you feel strongly about that?
Because Jews is a special nation that God gave it to the Jews. We don't want the Arabs to be here.
They knew that they were on camera. That's what's so alarming to me too. I wasn't trying to hide. I wasn't doing gotcha journalism. I was going up with a camera and saying, generally, what do you think about the situation?
I think Israelis have to take over and they have to kick them away.
I was so horrified and alarmed at the genocidal rhetoric that was being espoused. Every single person, for every generation, every walk of life, they wanted ethnic cleansing. They said we should nuke them. One little girl laughing, we should kill all Arabs. Kill all Arabs.
We need to kill Arabs.
It shows you the impunity back then. The arrogance to just assume this is what you guys think too, right? You're an American. You agree with me. You guys have been doing the same thing. This is who we are. We're proud racists. We're proudly fascist. I felt like I was walking into Berlin in 1932. I really felt absolutely disgusted. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. I mean, just walking a couple steps, and as white as I am, are you Arab? Are you Arab? And I'm like, what? I'm an American. Oh, good. We can talk about Arabs then. We can talk about how much we hate Palestinians. I saw the writing on the wall back then. I saw that there's no hope from within Israeli society. I went to rallies where they were calling to kick all the refugees out. You know, these were things that we're told Israel's a safe haven for Holocaust survivors, for genocide survivors. Well, why are all the African refugees put out in the middle of the Negev desert into a concentration camp? Why don't they want any African refugees there? They tokenize Ethiopian refugees, but then they make them take Depo-Provera birth control because they don't want them to reproduce. This is the nature of Israeli society. It's an ethno-state. And it's built on supremacy.
I say, yeah, you can come here, but you ain't breathing, motherfucker.
How many civilians have been killed in Gaza, from what you know?
Who gives a shit?
Okay, but don't you feel like, for example, children?
Children grow up to be Arabs.
You have to continue to expel. You have to continue to kill to keep that artificial majority in place.
If you gave me a button to just erase Gaza, every single living being in Gaza would no longer be living tomorrow, I would press it in a second. I would press it right now. Give me that button and press it right now.
There you go.
And I think most Israelis would.
During the Gaza genocide, to
That's
see
crazy,
people
Anna.
just proclaim out in the open.
You say
the
some shit
genocide
like that
statement.
here,
It's an entire nation
your ass is
out
getting locked the
there
fuck up.
that is responsible.
אנחנו משמידים את כל מה שעוד נשאר מהרצועה, ולא משאיר אבן על אבן. גם מים אנחנו לא צריכים לתת לרצועת עזה. אנחנו מפרקים את עזה ומשאירים אותה כאויי חרבות עם הרס מוחלט וחסר תקדים בעולם.
זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק, נצטווינו. אנו זוכרים ואנו נלחמים.
was heinous and horrifying, but finally people saw Israel for what it is. It's all been exposed. They're not hiding anymore.
כל ילד, כל תינוק בעזה הוא אויב.
אני רוצה להעיף אותם, להשמיד אותם עד האחרון בהם.
אם מעזה אתם תמשיכו לרעוב, תמשיכו למות, הבתים שלכם ימשיכו להישרף.
אני לא חושב שיש מישהו במדינת ישראל, בארץ ישראל, שצריך לרחם על העזתים האלה. לא על מבוגרים, לא על קשישים, לא על צעירים ולא על ילדים. מבחינתי שירעבו למוות, מה אכפת לי מהם?
אנחנו שורפים להם את הכפר. זה טוב שאנחנו שורפים להם את הכפר.
Israel's propaganda is not working anymore because for the first time, Palestinians have been able to just show us the unvarnished truth of the reality that they endure on a daily basis. We see the settler terrorism. We see the people getting mowed down for doing nothing. We see the crimes every single day. You cannot hide genocide from us. So the propaganda has become cartoonish.
Yeah, them babies
I'm
ain't
very
good shit, though,
puzzled
man.
by the constant concern which the world is showing for the Palestinian people and is actually showing for these horrible, inhuman animals.
Everybody.
It's inverted. Just everything that we know to be true. Black is white, up is down. It's the most moral army in the world. We're a benevolent empire spreading human rights and democracy. Who the hell believes this anymore? So it's become silly. It's become absurd.
The Israelis today saying that Hamas use Palestinians as human shields. Do they?
Killing the victims, then blaming the victims for killing themselves. I mean, what is this logic?
They infantilize us. They treat us like children.
This is a genocide happening in front of our eyes.
We have, that word is, as you know, incredibly emotive, and the Israelis, as you know, will be saying that they are targeting Hamas only.
It's become so obvious that we're being dictated to, that our reality is curated by tech overlords who are profiting off the infrastructure of genocide, of the surveillance of our lives. All of these things are connected. So the propaganda doesn't work anymore. It's too infantilizing and stupid.
One day after describing it as a tragic mishap, Israel has now claimed a deadly double strike on a Gaza hospital was prompted by the discovery of a Hamas camera.
A Hamas camera is why they blow up journalists at a hospital? Because they have a camera that was belonged to Hamas? I mean, it just makes corporate media journalists and establishment journalists look like buffoons, doesn't it? For towing this absurd propaganda that's so hollowed out and childlike. They should be ashamed of themselves.
We have some really disturbing new information out of Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister's spokesman just confirmed babies and toddlers were found with their heads decapitated.
There's no excuse whatsoever. They are complicit in this. But you see Israel buying up media outlets.
But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one.
Do you see Israeli billionaires trying to tamp down on the narrative? They're desperate. They're desperate because they know that's the only way they'll survive, is to try to convince the world of the opposite of what we're all seeing. So that's why you see these desperate, pathetic influencers just spewing lies.
I'm here in Gaza, and all I see is food, water, and opportunity. But instead of Hamas distributing the ramen noodles, they're eating it all, and that's why their leaders are on Ozempic.
Because that's all they have left. They don't have anything anymore. But it's too late. We're never going to forget what it looks like when Palestinians hold their children in plastic bags. No one can forget that. I'm never going to forget the sound of a drone emitting a crying baby so it can massacre children who come out of their homes.
جماعة الخير قوات قطر قتلت صوت أطفال الآن من مخيم سرات امبارح استشهدوا شاب طلع مسكين يشوف إيش الصوت.
That's some crazy shit.
طلع والله كان صوت.
And get lured like a cat and mouse. No one's going to forget that. No one's going to forget what it looks like in Gaza today. You can't wash that away. You can't paper over that with degenerate propaganda, base level lies. No one's going to paper over the unvarnished truth of what we've all witnessed for years now. Now, this is urgent. If you care about independent media, if you care about stories like this, you must support it.
a more robust and stable future, rather than causing them to inherit numbers of victims. Make no mistakes that we are all.
It's one thing to kill people on the battlefield, but that's a little much.
Working to protect our homeland, and each home destroyed with which part of our memory is destroyed. That's why together, hand in hand, we will rebuild our home country. All the Lebanese are on one ship. Either we steer it with prudence and wisdom, or to cause it to sink, and with which we will all sink. We will all drown. We cannot allow for this crime to be perpetrated under the pretext of any slogan or anything or any loyalty to any but to Lebanon and its people. I plead to you for all the sacrifices made and out of loyalty to the steadfast people to open your minds and hearts and do not lose sight or fall to the reason, the voice of reason. Do not be misled with all empty slogans. To the displaced citizens, I address you and I say you will return home and your homes will be rebuilt. We will be on your side and we cannot fail you. And to those holding their grounds on the forefront, make no mistake, we will provide all redress. And to those who gamble with the fate of Lebanon and all the Lebanese, I say enough. Enough with it. It is only one agenda, the agenda of one unified, sovereign Lebanon. And to the whole world, I say, Lebanon cannot be held captive, nor our people be brought to their knees, and we will live by the will of our people. Long live Lebanon, long live my people.
Okay, you've been listening to the Lebanese President Joseph Aoun, who's been speaking in Beirut, giving a fiery and passionate defense of the ceasefire deal that was agreed to on Thursday and the idea that talks could potentially take place with Israel. I want to bring in our correspondent Malcolm Webb, if we can, who joins us live from Beirut and who is listening along to this with us. Malcolm, if you can hear me, I want to get your thoughts on this because President Aoun was speaking very clearly, addressing some of the criticism.
I don't know, man. I don't think babies should be fucking killed. Kids, little kids and shit, they should have a chance at life. You know what I mean? To be a kid. All that other shit. I get it. If a motherfucker's on the battlefield, I get it. But all that other shit, nah, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Kids don't deserve to die like that. I don't know. That just kind of fucks with me a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's go check in on the boys at PBD Podcast. Experiencing interruptions.
Because the debt, and we're gonna go do this with the dollar.
Hey,
there's so many ways. If this ends up coming out good for him, it'll be another one of those things for him to add to his resume that everybody.
I mean, that's like shooting somebody in the back, right? You shoot somebody in the back, they're unarmed and shit. That's, to me, that's just cowardly. But kill kids and women and shit that's in their homes because, they're on a land that you claim is theirs. I did a little research on it yesterday. Them people been there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. How in the fuck you just going to go take their land from them and murder them and call them out? You know what I mean? That's wild. That's just wild.
They lost their minds, and then he ended up winning. If he ends up winning, if he ends up coming out of it, There was a question one of the reporters asked, Rob, I don't know if you have this clip or not, if you want to find it, because I'm going to go to it. When the reporter says, Mr. President, did you hear about Iran is about to kill 4, with 1 being the first woman? And Trump looks at her and says, have you told the Pope that? Go tell the Pope. Go tell the Pope. And it was interesting to say that to the Pope. And then J.D. Vance at the TPUSA event said a few things about the Pope. Franklin Graham said some things about defending Trump's position with the picture, hey, all that other stuff, even though the president ended up taking the picture down. I mean, I don't know if you heard or not. That picture was taken out.
That picture does not bother me a bit. We all know who Trump is when it comes to that shit. We got him. We voted him in to fix the economy because we're fucking doing bad. We all know he's asshole. We watched him on TV. If you didn't watch The Apprentice, well, you missed something.
The president is not one that takes things down, but he was able to take it down. He did end up taking it down. Then there's something else going on called the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Can you imagine? They don't want people to be exposed in California. And so they're coming out with this thing called the Stop Nick Shirley Act, which, you know, it is what it is. We applaud Nick for what he's doing. He's doing a great job out there. We hope he continues. And he keeps getting funded by others that are supporting what he's doing as a young man, putting himself on the line. It's not the safest thing he's doing, but that's where courage comes with it. So, and last but not least, this one story, which is good news. More young men say religion is very important to them. And this is not a New York Post story.
It's
Vinny,
evil, Rip it.
this is a New York Times story.
Really?
Okay. Yes. Young men turning to religion, very important to them. Last night at the Cigar Lounge, I don't know if you know Victor Belfort. Victor Belfort was Vitor Belfort was one of the greatest fighters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
We watched him for many, many years. He is a crazy, crazy guy when he came down, when it comes down to fighting. He's there, we're talking together. And he says, you know why I love you know, what you guys do in the brand and all? I said, why? He says, because it's important for you to be a great father, right? And we talked about young men, faith. He's got 3 kids. All of them know how to fight. The oldest is a boy. He's got 2 young girls, I believe. Just a very good conversation with the guy. You're seeing more and more young men turning to God, realizing they cannot do this anymore. And a lot of the divisiveness, the games are like, look, man, I need someone's help. I need God's help to be on my side. So with that being said, before we get started, we have something very, very special to introduce to you here today from Vinny. So Vinny, share with us what good news you have.
Well, Pat, that story leads into exactly what's
my pops believes everything Israel says. Me and him can't have that conversation. Because he thinks that they're in the right. But I promise you, if he was ever over there and seen that shit, it wouldn't take him very long to think otherwise. But me and him
going on with the brand new hat.
We've
I'm so excited. We finally have it. So many of you guys have been asking for this. The black on white faith over fear hat with the cross on the right, our shield, and then Hebrews 11:1 on the back. And by the way, and I tell people this all the time, Pat, this isn't just a hat. It's letting people know exactly where you stand. Faith in Jesus Christ and no fear. That's the mindset and that's the life. And as you just said, there's a Gallup poll, Pat. There's a shift happening right now. The Gallup poll showed 42% of men ages 18 to 29 say religion is very important in their lives. That's up 28%. Okay. That's a huge jump and people are leaning into faith. And if you want to represent that, guys, go to vtmerch.com. The supply is really limited. These things are going to go fast, guys. I walked into the studio today and already 4 people did. Everybody's like, yo, when am I getting my hat? So this is it, guys. Faith over fear. Faith, you have nothing. If you have faith in Christ, you have no fear about job, life, death, anything. And this is it. The hat's out. It's on the website. Go to vtmerch.com and place your order. I guarantee you, these are going to go fast.
No, they look
they're ridiculous.
This is the only thing Humberto wears.
Humberto's been wearing it, but he had it before I had it.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens.
He took it from me. He took it from me. So I'm going to wear this hat today because I think it's good to have faith over fear. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order, represent it, go to work, confuse people a little bit. It's and not only confuse, create a story, tell your testimony after that, but it's a great way to start a conversation. All right, let's get right into it. So you ready for the most important data? Tom, can you tell us the most important stat of today? That was $119 just a few days ago, barrel. How much are oil prices right now?
The market's going to open in 6 minutes. Crude oil is at 83.
What does that mean? The fact that it dropped down to 83.
That there is confidence and stability in the oil markets. And remember, this adventure started at 65 to 67. That was the nominal price of oil back in late January through Valentine's Day, before the fund started. And so now we're sitting on $83, $84, which means the oil market is calming down. This is a very good thing, and the overall markets are up. The S&P is at 7140, which in pre-market, which is an all-time high.
All-time highs.
S&P
500.
So, but aren't people trying to celebrate for the economy to do bad, and for it to be a bad look for the president? Isn't it supposed to be like a massive drop-off, Tom?
So, people like MSNBC and our good friend on MSNBC are really having a tough time this morning.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time, they had that tingling feeling in their leg, and they were so happy about Obama. And now people like Chris Matthews he said it, not me. He said it. And now they're sitting there with their coffee, absolutely devastated because the American economy looks like it's...
By the way, and see if you pick up on it. I picked up on it in the first couple sentences. So Trump posted on Truth Social, the U.S. will get all the nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bomber. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. The deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the U.S. will separately work with Lebanon to deal with the Hezbollah situation. That lets me know right there that we're going in. That's why the troops are staying there. I'm not telling you. Israel will not be bombed Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. Thank you, President Donald Trump. So he's going into Lebanon. That's why he's got all them troops there. Let me tell you, he's had more than one strategy this whole time.
Hey, do you know
and it looks like gas might be more...
When he gets in on the ground in Lebanon, our troops are there on the ground, right? And then there is no scaling the fucking mountains. He's already in the territory. Equipment's in the territory, and they let him in. You watch and see what I tell you. And Iran acts up then, he's liable to double cross Iran. He's liable to double cross them and go in there and liberate them people and still take the fucking oil. Trump ain't no damn dummy. He's working an angle. Now, I don't know if that to be true, but I wouldn't put it past him. Now, y'all remember, Unc said it first.
Affordable for people, so there's no one to yell at this summer. What will they do?
Chris Matthews hasn't been at MSNBC for a while. It's the other
long time.
Very long time. That tells you how much.
I'm glad you correct me and Tom are in peace negotiations right now. I didn't want to correct you, Tom.
Let's go into
but
that
you are
topic.
right. 90%.
Wherever he is, he no longer is getting a tingling feeling.
So let's go into this topic that we have. So, Rob, Lebanon, Israel ceasefire. What is the latest with this? Because the 10-day ceasefire in Lebanon begins as Israel agrees to U.S.-backed deal. President Trump announced the agreement, which went into force Thursday evening as Pakistani mediators work to extend U.S.-Iran ceasefire and arrange new talks. If you want to go a little bit lower, Rob, in Beirut, a tentative 10-day was set up. The ceasefire was announced on Thursday by the president and confirmed by Bibi in a later video. Netanyahu said that Israel had an opportunity to forge a historic peace agreement with Lebanon, but that Israeli forces would remain inside Lebanese territory in a reinforced buffer zone. The agreement was not negotiated by Hezbollah, the group that Israel had been targeting, and which, Rob, if you can pull it up a little bit, and which gave ambiguous statements about whether they would recognize that a ceasefire must include a comprehensive halt to attacks across all Lebanese area with no freedom of movement for Israeli forces and a return to the situation prior to March 2nd, when the current round of conflict began between Israel and Hezbollah began, the group said in a statement. So, while you're hearing this, the Israeli military said there were at least 40 strikes from Lebanon after Trump announced the pause, and Lebanese state media reported heavy airstrikes in regional areas. So both of them were going back and forth. How big of a deal is this, Adam?
Shit, Pimp, we thought that
this could be huge because, listen, most people, most countries want two things, peace and prosperity. I think the U.S. wants that. I think Israel wants that. I think the UAE wants this. I think Saudi wants this. I think Lebanon wants this. Then you need to ask yourself, do these U.S. designated terrorist groups want this? Do you think ISIS wants peace and prosperity? Does ISIS wake up every day? Let's be peaceful, guys, when they're having their cereal and coffee? Does Al-Qaeda think that? Does Hezbollah think that? Does Hamas think that? That's not the way they think. So right now, what's different this time around is one thing. There's a weak and almost on the brink of disaster Iran. Now, we talked about this last podcast that I think Lebanon is Iran first because Iran, the IRGC, is basically controlling Lebanon. Now, this peace talk right now between Netanyahu and the Israeli government, he's speaking for the first time, high-level peace talks. They've been at war for 78 years, since the infancy of the country of Israel, since 1948. So now you have the president, Joseph Aoun, hope I got his name right. They're having the first high-level talks in decades, basically. And you know who's not there anywhere near the talks right now? So they're basically saying, we want peace. Me and you want peace. You're Lebanon, I'm Israel. Let's make peace. This guy's messing everything up. So what do we want to do? Should we handle this? Or do we bring this guy in? Because this guy doesn't want peace. And the people of Lebanon, they're just very similar to what's going on in Iran. If I can just paint a very clear picture, the people of Lebanon are very similar to the people of Iran. 80% of Lebanon wants peace, prosperity, and they want Hezbollah out of there. Just like 80% of Iran, which you talked about, wants the Ayatollah and the IRGC out there.
Got it.
The question is this: can they actually negotiate peace, or is Hezbollah going to get in the way? Is there going to be deeper conflict?
Tom, thoughts?
So right now, it's been very interesting how Israel's kind of doing its own thing. When they said the ceasefire, the first thing Israel said, and people that were there said, no, that doesn't include us in Lebanon. What's going on with us in Lebanon is separate. But now a ceasefire in Lebanon, you know, I pray that there's a ceasefire there, because the Lebanese Christians and the people that are in the rural areas there, it's horrible. It's like in the morning the rockets go south, and then in the evening the rockets go north, and they're stuck in the middle of it. And I know that there's the bad people that are there, Hezbollah and everything, but I want to see the ceasefire, and I want to see it wrapped up. And I'm really sad.
Rob, what clips do we have on this, Rob? Do we have any clips on this or no?
Not right now. I do have Netanyahu, but it's not in English. I'm translating it now.
Go for it.
I think I lowered my mic.
It's in Hebrew. You need some help. What do you need?
No. I personally think, Pat, well, America, I don't know how the rest of the world operates. We don't negotiate with terrorists, correct? So how can you? I think a ceasefire is unrealistic, because remember, we were sold war on terror. It's an unrealistic win. You could never win when you're going against terrorists. And any nation could always say, there's terrorists there, there's terrorists there, there's terrorists there. And it's like a blank check to keep going and doing whatever you're doing. So my question is, how do you win? Because I don't believe if a terrorist nation or a terrorist groups, you think they're going to negotiate, they're going to bomb right back, and then they're going to bomb right back. So I'm curious, what is a win? What is an actual, okay, Hezbollah's gone, and they're done, and without, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to figure out, because I've run so many scenarios in my head where I'm like, okay, if me and Pat say, Adam, you and Tom, there's terrorists over there. We could keep coming and keep bombing until when? Because all you have to do is say that there's terrorists. I'm not saying that there's not terrorists in Lebanon. I'm not saying there's not terrorists in Iran. Of course. But what I'm saying is, what's victory? How do you achieve a win? Because again, we're talking about Hezbollah.
Permanent victory?
Permanent victory.
No, there's no such thing.
That's what I'm saying. And that's such.
No, but that's life, though. I think that's how life works. I think that's how business works. Whenever you have people with opposing beliefs of you know, that look at the world in a different way, that look at business in a different way, you're never going to have permanent peace. You're just looking at finding ways to make progress. This could be a sign of progress. Here's what Trump had to say yesterday when he was being asked about this. Go ahead, Rob.
Hezbollah sticks with the ceasefire. Are you confident about that? I think they will. I think it's going to be, actually, it's very exciting, because it's 48 years. We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah. And I think I think it could be number 10 for me.
It could be number 10. Like
talking about making peace agreements.
Right. So, but then this also leads to, yesterday when he's having a conversation, they asked him, they asked him about, did you hear about the 4 people? Is this Trump?
Yes, sir.
Iran is taking out 4 people, and one of them is a woman. And look at his response. Go for it.
Iran's going to execute 4 more protesters, reportedly, including the first women protester.
Execute 4 protesters.
Well, tell that to the Pope. What did you say? Tell that to the Pope.
You want to patch things up with
Did you just hear that? Iran is going to execute 4 people, including a woman?
Who's he talking to there? Do you know?
Well, probably a person asked the question about the Pope prior to that, so that's why he's pointing at that reporter. But he says, tell that to the Pope. So look at Iran. Hey, they're executing 4 more and one girl they're killing. Tell that to the Pope. And when he's saying Pope, he's saying because the Pope is against war. That's what he's saying, right? Mm-hmm. Because the Pope made a comment about it. Tom, with things going on right now with Iran and the vessels trying to go through of Strait of Hormuz, one of the ships was going through, and by the way, this China one, if we have that, Rob, for me to read it, Chinese oil tanker retreats from the Strait of Hormuz, shows how Trump's blockade is working. Okay, Chinese oil tanker retreat from the Strait of Hormuz shows how the blockade is working. So this is kind of interesting. So China's got great relationships with Iran. They should be able to go through, but wait a minute, they're now not? What happened there? A sanctioned Chinese oil tanker crossed the Strait of Hormuz, then was forced to double back and return to Iran after President Trump blockaded the vital shipping lane, according to ship tracking data. Aborted voyage of the Rich Sterry, a Malawi-flagged Chinese-owned tanker that was blacklisted by the U.S. in 2023, shows how the U.S. Navy successfully blocked the flow of ships carrying Iranian oil. Since the war began, most vessels have had traveled out of Strait of Hormuz, have been loaded with Iranian exports. Given the cash-strapped regime vital funds, so far the U.S. blockade on the eastern side of the Strait of Gulf of Oman has stopped at least 5 ships from heading out into the oceans. According to the trade analysis from Kepler, Iran has stifled nearly all traffic through Hormuz, which previously carried 20% of the world's oil, by threatening to attack tankers if they don't pay the ransom. Iran, the Rich Sterry, which was previously accused of helping Tehran skirt oil sanctions, has masked its location in the Persian Gulf for more than 10 days before attempting to leave the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. The tanker, owned by Shanghai's Zhongran Shipping Company, was loaded with 250,000 barrels of methanol. Initially appeared to make it through the blockade, but updated tracking data revealed the ship stopped in the Gulf of Oman on Tuesday. Tom, what does this U-turn mean about the power U.S. has that even China?
I told everybody that fucking news lied, and they doubled down on it.
I was now listening.
Well, it means that it is not, to say that we're controlling the strait right now is absolutely true. And you also notice, and Rob, if you could put that map back up, we showed the map the other day, the one you just had, just right there. You see how they're going on the northern route, Pat? Remember we looked over Oman, the 2 shipping routes went right around Oman. That is on the south side. And but there was mines there. And Iran says, I don't know where the mines are. I don't remember where I put them. Okay. And now they've got to run this at the top. So we've okay, you're not going through. So number one, Trump had a conversation with Xi that got leaked, and reliable sources are indicating that one of the things he told Xi, stop providing military support. They were sending him jet fuel or rocket fuel, They were sending him rocket fuel. And apparently they gave them satellite images of the U.S. bases at other places in UAE and Oman, where they had actually launched those rockets that hit the tankers that hit U.S. bases there. So China was giving them basically intel, targeting intel. So there's a lot going on with China here, and the Rich Sterry is a smuggling ship. When we've had blockades, we've had economic sanction, that thing has been loading up with oil and sneaking back and forth through, going to China and back. And as far goes 2023, they identified that ship is basically a Chinese government operation getting them oil back and forth. So what's going on here? The blockade is working. The U.S. military is there. And even China's ship said, yeah, I'm going to hang a U-turn here. I'm not going to screw with
now,
this.
While that's going on, they did say that China slammed U.S. military blockade of Strait of Hormuz as a dangerous an irresponsible move. Rob, I think you got a clip on this one if you want to go through it.
I think dangerous and irresponsible would be if they kept sailing.
Well, but what this move here officially showed that China is more afraid of America than Iran, and they're now listening. This is a very, very important situation here. Go ahead, Rob. Play the clip.
Regarding the second question, I have already stated China's position. As for the third question you raised, China has always maintained a prudent and responsible approach to military exports. We exercise strict control based on our export laws and international obligations. We oppose groundless smears or malicious associations.
Did he just say anything? What did he just say, Rob? I don't even know.
First of all, I don't trust him because he has an English accent.
Yeah, he's the foreign minister of China.
Yeah,
But what did
and
he
he has
really
an
say?
English
What was
accent.
his message?
I'm not sure.
What did he say, Rob?
We've been careful with military exports. Well, why are you sending rocket fuel
Yeah. What?
to the guy that needs rockets?
Adam.
Okay, check it. Here's what's going on. Trump launched Operation Epic Fury against Iran.
Yeah.
Do you know the new term they're using right now? Operation Economic Fury. Have you heard this yet?
Yes.
Economic Fury. So when you hear Economic Fury, you're thinking, okay, that's next level with Iran. Nope. Pause. It's all about China. What I want to do is reframe the conversation. Venezuela. What's happening in Cuba right now? Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Russia. It's all China. What do I mean? It's all China. Because at the end game is China. Do you think when we finish winning this war against Iran, which we will, as we militarily defeat them, strategically defeat them, economically defeat them, Trump's going to say, who's next? We know who's next.
Cuba.
We're about to have midterms soon. The second half of this administration is going to be all about China. And what we're doing is having economic warfare versus China. Now, how do you pose economic warfare? Well, it's very clear. Like Tom said, you're choking off oil from the Strait of Hormuz. So one other thing, either Trump, one of two things, you tell me what you think it is. Either Trump is a complete buffoon, madman, running around crazy, doesn't know what he's doing, completely controlled by Israel, doesn't know what he's doing, or everything he's doing is strategic, well thought out, calculated, and a cold-blooded economic plan. I happen to think he's on number two, the former. Sorry, the latter. So what's happening? Oil warfare, U.S. hegemony, stability through strength, drill, baby, drill, making sure the petrodollar still is basically done in U.S. dollars. Everything he's doing with tariffs. And last but not least, BRICS. It's all about economic fury versus China.
And by the way, and I'm all for everything for America. I've been seeing people online that are literally cheering against us. And you talked about the strategic.
Are they Americans?
No, Americans that are of course.
So can I pause for a second? You're seeing people online,
people in America
are
want
Americans
us to lose
that are rooting what? What are you
against
saying?
America?
Against America.
Yes. Okay, so can I get to the point?
No, my point is, let's not just gloss over that.
I'm not. Well,
imagine you're in America rooting against America.
Adam, there's people that burn the flag and hate him. We see them all the time.
They hate
Adam.
Trump.
Let him speak.
Yeah, and Adam. Let me get to my point.
I'm getting you, baby.
My point is, there's those people, and you're talking about. And by the way, I'm an American. Regardless, whatever's going, I have to support the president. Even though Joe Biden, I made fun of him because he was old, I still don't want him to make stupid decisions because it affects us and children and everything like that. And I get what you're saying. The Strait of Hormuz, economic, what's the other stuff that you said? The strategic and all that. But you know what? It's almost as if everybody forgot. The Iranian people. This whole thing, I remember, was for them.
I got your back. Don't you hang those boys. I got your back.
I got your back. Well, let me finish, Adam.
That was one component.
No,
it wasn't the entire thing.
Hold on a second. This is me as Vincent, just an American sitting around. It was for the people, but now they're negotiating with the same people that were killing the people in the street. So are they going to change the leadership? Because I haven't heard a peep from the people, and that's what my heart goes out for them because they did their part. They revolted. They were in the street. They lost all their lives, bro. They're getting hanged today. My point is, I love the economic victory, but if the people are still in charge, the terrorists are still in charge, how is that ever going to help them, Pat? We have to go in there And the goal was the regime change, topple, whatever. And I just feel for them.
Yeah,
I feel like their voices are lost.
100%. I'm with you there. I will tell you the one part. There is no winning with Trump. So and the part that I noticed with his critics, if he goes in, they'll say, "Oh, he's putting boots on the ground."
Yeah.
If he doesn't go in, he says, "Oh, look, he didn't take care of the Iranian people. He said he's going to come out and help out."
Taco.
If he
chickened out.
Yeah. If he doesn't do the deal and the market, oil prices go up, oh, look what he's doing. He doesn't know how to take care of the economy. If boom, oil prices go to 83, did you notice all he cares about is economy? Vinny, there is no winning for this guy. Okay, he has to make a choice of what it is to lead and go out there and make it happen. Now watch this. One interesting thing's going on. Look at Trump's tweet here, okay? I want to play this clip. It says, Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for passage. Strait of Hormuz, he changed it to Strait of Iran. Play the clip.
The screen for a reason. The Iranian foreign minister, who seems to be really the guy in charge, or at least publicly for Iran, just fired this off in a post on X, and I'm going to read it for you now. In line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of ceasefire on the coordinated route as already announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So on that news,
this is from the White House 24 minutes ago.
The stock market is flying through the roof. That opens in 28 minutes. So
White House just tweeted this 24 minutes ago from the president. So that means there's a conversation that just had for this to be had. And then Kobashi Letters also posted it, Rob. Iran has officially opened it up. In line with ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of ceasefire on the coordinated route and already announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, what this means, economically, the market, Tom, what is the market looking like right now?
The market's on fire right now, Pat.
S&P 7123.
Oh my!
The S&P is at all-time high. NASDAQ is all-time high. VIX is completely low, meaning volatility is very low.
Dow was
trying to get back to the 50.
Yep.
Yeah,
we're back, baby. We're so back.
That was back 1.1% today. NASDAQ up a point. S&P up 0.75 of a point.
Oil's down
gold
to 84,
almost 4,900 right now. Almost 4,900 for gold.
Gold is 4,900. Bitcoin's at what? Where's Bitcoin at? 75?
75, I want to say.
Yeah, 75. So, but
76.
I want to know the details. I want to know what was negotiated. I want to know what's being talked about behind closed doors. I want to know, what a part of it for me, like remember back in 2 years ago, he said one of the most important things for me on 2024 for the president to win. Do you remember what I said was one of the most important things for me? It was the Panama Canal. I said it's very important for us to control the Panama Canal, right? Because long term, you don't want China to see what's their next manipulative game to play against the U.S. You know what's the next thing I want U.S. to have control over? Karg Island. I want us there. I want us to have in Iran. I want, because there's about 4 or 5 islands around there. I want us to have some kind of an influence over that, because if you do, then guess officially what you do. Because the Panama Canal is important to China for what reason? Think about the difference between Strait of Hormuz and Panama Canal. How are they each important to China?
That's how they got the Venezuelan oil. That's how during embargo, that's how they got Venezuelan oil.
Who the fuck gave them
They got it from Venezuela and then through the Panama Canal.
Shit.
It went across the Pacific Ocean. That's how they got, that's one of the ways they were getting energy that they needed.
Today, think about today in 2026 and the future. What role does Strait of Hormuz play for them, and what role does Panama Canal play for China and for U.S.? Moving forward, after what we just learned the last 6 weeks.
If China doesn't have a more dominant negotiating position on both of those, preferably one, it means they're now at the mercy of other people, and they can't play below the surface because they need the energy.
So it means they're at the mercy of the United States.
Correct.
It means what I'm seeing right now, if I could just kind of encapsulate everything, we pull up this fear and greed index, right? On CNN, they always
greed is super high.
1 week ago, it was at extreme fear. So, so during COVID, oh my God, the markets, 6 months later, all-time high.
That's right.
We've seen this enough as grown-ups at this point to realize the market goes like this. But over time, everything's okay. It's World War III.
Yeah,
No,
but
we're
that's not
back.
what I'm talking about. What I'm talking
what you're
about
talking
is
about
I'm
with
talking about
China-
Strait of Hormuz and
Yes.
Panama Canal. Stay on that. For me, Panama Canal, Western Hemisphere, where we live, that keeps us safe. That if they want to do the next COVID, they can't. So now we need to make sure that the current president gets along with U.S., but who the hell is going to be the next president? If all of a sudden Panama's next president is a socialist, communist, one of these Lula type of guys that takes over, then it changes the game. And it's very possible that something like that could happen because of what's going on in that region. So we have to control that part. But to me, with Strait of Hormuz, if China had a great relationship with Iran, they signed that 25-year, $400 billion contract, whatever the agreement was that they had the two of them, Rob, if you want to pull that up, the 25-year, $400 billion agreement between the two. If U.S. is now at Carrick Island, and you notice what Trump said in the tweet, what did he say? What did he call the strait?
Iran.
Strait of Iran.
So what is he saying in the negotiation?
Them?
What is he saying in the
Do you
negotiation?
think that was intentional? Did he call it Strait of Hormuz?
No, it's Tom.
Strait of
Trump
Iran?
doesn't mess up words.
Yeah, somebody.
Trump, when he says the Gulf of America, he's not fooling around.
So he went from Strait of Hormuz to Strait of Iran.
Yes.
And you're saying that there's a
There has to be on
message
purpose.
there.
No, to me,
Well, what do you think it is?
to me, I think something happened behind closed doors, and he told him, he says, you know what I'm even going to do? I'm even going to change it. As long as we become partners 50-50, here's how it works. We're going to have a military base there. We're going to help with support as well, but you can't have Iran anymore. And if you even think about having nuclear, but I'm going to give you the name. Because remember back in the days, the Shah was being interviewed. And what did the Shah say? The Shah said, Mike Wallace asked him a question. He said, Mike Wallace is the dad. Chris Wallace is the son.
Yeah.
Right? Am I saying it
Correct.
correctly?
Yeah.
Mike Wallace asked him the question, if you put Shah and then put
Is this the Persian Gulf thing?
put
Yeah.
Persian Gulf and look at the way he answers it. He says, try to find a short,
It was
right
a
there,
conversation.
right there.
Arabian Gulf versus
Watch
Persian
it. Started
Gulf.
from the
Remember this one?
beginning. Go ahead.
As you know, I have been across the Gulf that you call Persian and they call Arabian. Why do you call it Gulf? You have been to school, haven't you? Yes. What was the name that you have read during your school days? Persian Gulf. All right. But they do call it Arabian.
They can call it whatever they want. See, this guy was a G.
So what was he saying about the word Gulf?
But words matter.
Yeah.
Words matter. So if Trump, knowing words matter, look, some of the biggest deals that happen, a bigger company bought a smaller company, and the only reason the smaller company wouldn't allow the bigger company to sell is because of name rights. And the bigger company is like, no, we're going to name it AT&T. We're going to maintain your name, not our name. So a $200 billion company buys a $50 billion company, but allows the $50 billion company to take over the name just to, because that matters a lot. That kind of stuff matters. So for him to say this, the Strait of Iran, I guarantee you this is part of the negotiation that's taking place for vanity reasons to give him something. But I know he got, because he said, I don't want 90% of what I asked for. I don't want 90%. I want it all.
Yep.
I want to know what all means. Okay. I want to know what he asked for. I want to know what this all means that he asked for in a negotiation. We're going to hopefully find out here pretty soon.
This dude ain't dumb.
As we go with this, and more talks come with this. Well, let me get to the next topic here that we got outside of this. Next topic I want to go into. And by the way, they said if there's peace talks, Rob, that he may fly out to Pakistan. Do you have that clip to show it? I think he said if they do end up getting this thing done and everything is over with, I'm willing to travel to Pakistan myself. And is that it right there? Peace talks between Israel. I don't know which one it is, but there was a clip that he said that he is willing to go out there. And I think no, it's somewhere there, Rob. It's somewhere there. Okay. All right, let's get to the next story. Next story I want to get to is let's go to the Stop Nick Shirley Act. In the Stop Nick Shirley Act, there's a story that comes out. What page is that on, Rob? The Stop Nick Shirley Act?
Stop Nick Shirley Act.
17. Nick Shirley warns California bill could punish people trying to expose government fraud. Here's Nick Shirley. Go for it.
What do you think? Is this the Stop Nick Shirley Act in California?
Yeah, they're trying to make it so citizen journalists or just average Americans who are going about seeing what's happening inside their community, they're trying to scare them from talking about potential fraud taking place inside of these communities. And think about it. They're literally willing to impose a $10,000 fine or imprisonment if you go and seek to find out the truth about a location that could potentially be fraudulent inside your own neighborhood.
Nick, let's just kind of play out that hypothetical. So whether you were in Minnesota, you also went to California, you would go up to the Quality Leering Center, a clearly fake daycare in Minnesota. There's your shirt. Yes, always on. And you would attempt to see if there's any children inside, right? And somebody comes out and talk to you. And now that person who's there possibly committing fraud could file a complaint in California that Nick Shirley is harassing me online, right? That's how it would work in effect. And then you would either see a year in jail or a $10,000 fine?
Correct. That's what it sounds like. And it sucks because inside these states like Minnesota and California, they've been proven to let fraud take place inside these immigrant communities. You had the Somalians in Minnesota and the Armenians in California. And they're trying to protect these people who are committing this fraud. They're stealing millions upon millions of dollars. And it just makes you wonder who their donors are. Like, who are their donors? Because why would they create this bill to then try and make it harder to expose fraud?
How bad is that, Tom? How bad is that what's going on?
It's really bad. And by the way, he just said it. I mean, I brought this up before and I've been asking for it. I want the investigations to go all the way down and do a financial forensic audit and find where the money was donated. And if it is in PAC A, PAC B, PAC C, and those PACs are donating to campaigns, then there's the circle of life for the fraud. You create the fraud, you put some in your pocket, you give a bunch back to a PAC, and it comes back to the representative. But check this out. Do you know who sponsored this? Mia Bonta. Mia Bonta is a California State Assemblywoman. She's the Attorney General's wife.
Jeez.
She is the wife of the Attorney General of California. The person that's supposed to be investigating the fraud, his wife is an assemblyman, goes out, Mia Bonta, puts it out, and it's called California AB 2624. And by the way, Vinny, fun with English, that's called the Privacy for Immigration Support Service Providers Act.
Oh, really?
Privacy for Immigration, because they feel the proposal needs to establish a program to keep residential addresses confidential against those that might be doxing. Wait a minute. If there's a hospice there, wouldn't you want the address known so people could go to the hospice and get services for a low-income parent or someone that needed hospice? But no, we're going to keep the addresses. This shows you. This shocks me, Pat. It's like right there in plain sight. You can stare into the belly of the beast right here and say, with a straight face, the Privacy for Immigration Support Services Providers Act. With a straight face.
Yeah. Adam.
Well, listen, it proves one thing. California is not Minnesota. It was like Minnesota is the minor leagues. Now he's in the big leagues right now. Going to California, you're talking about a couple $1 billion in Minnesota, whatever the number is. Who knows what the number is in California? So California is not playing games here. By the way, don't we want to encourage our citizens, our journalists, our independent journalists, our free thinkers, eliminate
they don't want nobody
fraud
to
and abuse? Isn't waste, fraud, and abuse a bad thing? Okay, great. Let's agree on that. We don't want waste, fraud, and abuse. So if you have nothing to hide, cool. Let's open up the books. Let's open up the books. You know, they just had tax day a couple other days. Did you see how gleeful people like Zoran Mondani and people like Karen Bass are for tax day? More revenue. Where the hell is this revenue going half the time? So there's clearly waste, fraud, and abuse at this point in all these cities. And what's wrong with finding that? That's just more money that you can play with in the government. Let's turn this frown upside down. Nick Shirley is trying to help you locate lost money. Let's find the money and reallocate it. And by the way, last point, they're saying that they're willing to impose a $10,000 fine or imprisonment. I'm not sure about the imprisonment side of things because he's just asking questions. But here's what I guarantee. God forbid there's a $10,000 fine. How quickly do you think people that support Nick Shirley will pay that? I'll sign up. I know we'll sign up. We're going to help this guy do what he's got to do. He's trying to do the right thing, and they're trying to block him from doing it.
Now, let me tell you, here's what is going to happen. Somebody sent me a Manek saying, hey, my business, that was my business that he showed, and we're actually a legitimate business, and we're not a bad business. My mother's been running this place for a long time. And I said, okay, great. I said, Manek them.
Yep.
Nick Shirley's on Manek. Rob, if you want to pull up his Manek, you can Manek him and ask him a question. He'll respond back to you and tell you yes or no. Yes or no.
Of course.
And, but when you're going out there, you're asking the questions like, well, then why don't you give some pamphlets? Why don't you be in business? Why don't you, if you're saying your business hours are 8 to 6, well, then when somebody walks in, act like you're open 8 to 6 because it looks like you're a fraud. So handle your business accordingly, the way that you're doing it instead of, because some people were Manek me saying that it's not all the businesses that he's looking at that are real or wrong, and they're not wrong. But he needs to, we definitely need guys like that to go out there, ask questions so we can learn about what's going on.
Of course, I'll just add one more thing. That same person Manekted me, and I said, yeah, I hear you. It's not like Nick Shirley is the judge, jury, and executioner. He's a citizen journalist. You can reach him on Manek. This is the power of Manek. And by the way, if he brings up a story or even accuses you, you can go fight it in court of law and find the truth.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that Nick Shirley is the gospel.
Yeah.
They're saying he's asking questions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we can't ask questions.
No, and the scary thing, look, bro, like if you think about it, the guy exposing the fraud becomes the problem and not the fraud itself. That should, and mind you, Adam, why they're all flipping? Adam, they're flipping out because they have to protect the scam. And it's not going to stop, bro. Think about it. He exposed these people so much. He's bouncing around, just, exposing hundreds of millions. Guys, and Pat, we talked about this before about his security. This is not a game. Like, he's exposing, like, he's going into the hundreds of millions of dollars, bro. He is a threat to very, very powerful, sneaky, disgusting human beings that have a target on him. And I'm not doing that to scare him. I'm just letting him know. I genuinely hope that he's taking this very, very seriously because he's showing how broken the system is. And he's, like I said, all these blue states, he went to Minnesota, now he's in California. They stop chasing the abuse and they start chasing the exposure. Okay. And you know what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to scare watchdogs, citizen journalists, undercover investigators from doing the damage. And this is what bothers me, Pat. This is, again, I always have hope at the end of the day. But what it seems like, because I want all of them, everybody that was involved, Tom, like you said with the forensics, get them, put them in jail. Because I'm getting sick and tired of we said this last week, launching investigations, writing letters. Tulsi Gabbard, what's her title? Director of National Intelligence. Another video came out where she's like, Obama, Brennan, all these people, 44-page letter. They all cheated and they all conspired against the sitting in the United States. Nobody's going to go to jail. Okay. COVID. Look at what they did. They lied to us of where it came from. No accountability yet. People are dying from turbo cancer. Kids, young boys are all getting myocarditis. Eric Swalwell just got in trouble. Look at the amount of people. They passed that bill, 357 to what, Tom? 65. They're covering up their crimes. I want to see one person go to jail. I want to see them, the perp walk, and put them in prison. Because when it was the other way around, FBI raids, people going to jail, indictment. They were so happy with all those freaking headshots. Can we put somebody, where's the accountability? I want to see, because I know in Minnesota, 65 of them went to jail. Good. Yay. I want people to go to jail. And if you don't think Gavin Newsom, Tom, knows about this hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, I'll tell you. 60 Minutes was one of the greatest investigative journalism shows in the history of American television. Mike Wallace, Harry Reasoner, Ed Bradley, Maurice Schaefer. We all remember it, and there were different reporters at different generations, right? We all watched it. They used to walk up to businesses and surprise them. Remember that?
Yes, I love that.
Adam. They used to surprise you. Excuse me, I'm with 60 Minutes. I have to talk to you about all the stuff you're putting into the river back there. What is coming out of these pipes? And they would go that. And by the way, you know how they were celebrated? Over 140 Emmys, Pat. 140 Emmys for news, for citizen, for journalism, for uncovering the stuff. But now we go the other way. And now we're going to charge people a $10,000 fine for doing it.
Tom brings up a really, really good point, and I'm wondering if this is something Nick Shirley could do. Nick Shirley needs cover. Right now, it's just, he's a kid, dude. We've hung out with Nick Shirley. He's a kid. And he's doing great work. He's got brains and got balls. If there was an organization, whether it's Fox News, whether it's Drudge Report, whoever, Valuetainment, whatever, that says here's his media credentials, just like we did with 60 Minutes. He's a reporter. He's an investigative journalist. He's a citizen journalist. He's asking questions. What's wrong with that? So 60 Minutes had a cover. 60 Minutes is on CBS, I believe, right?
David Ellison.
Okay.
Attention, David Ellison.
Let's get
You need a
someone
new
to give
reporter.
this kid a cover, a shield, so he can go use his sword.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to the next story here. While we're one of the stories that was going viral yesterday was Erica Kirk pulling out of huge Turning Point USA event, is what the title says, New York Post. With
up,
JD
Dan?
Vance after receiving serious threats. Okay, so let me read the story first to you. And then Vinny, I'm going to come to you. You tell us what's going on over here. Okay. So page 18. Here we go.
I can't
Turning
believe
Point
they're
USA
gonna touch
CEO
this.
Erica Kirk cancels a highly anticipated appearance with JD Vance receiving serious threats. Andrew Colvin, a spokesperson of the conservative students activist, stepped in for Charlie Kirk's widow at the Athens, Georgia event and informed the crowd why the grieving mother of two couldn't be there to interview the vice president who still attended the event. I'm going to address it right in front of my vice president. I'm on stage here instead of my friend Erica Kirk because unfortunately she received some very serious threats in her direction. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. Part-time jobs out of attacking, COVID added, arguing that some have made part-time jobs out of attacking. Erica Vance indicated he was aware of the threats against Erica 37 and was worried the University of Georgia event would be canceled, but decided to attend the consulting with Secret Service. Obviously, the guys do a very good job. He said, Secret Service detail, and I said, you know what? Let's let Erica do what she needs to do for herself and her family. I'm sure Andrew will fill in. And let's go make this an amazing event. The vice president lamented the two separate living hells Kirk has been subjected to since her husband's assassination last September, namely the shocking public murder of her children, father, and intense online criticism. Vinny.
Well, Pat, it's pulling out by saying that there's very serious threats, and then right after, the Secret Service says there was no credible threats, none. So let's not play dumb here.
When did Secret Service say
Rob,
that?
can you show that? I think it was yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, Pat,
It was official announcement.
Yeah, right there. Secret Service determines no credible threat to UGA rally after Erica Kirk's cancellation. Okay, like I said, let's not play dumb. JD Vance was there, and for anybody that's been around, and we all have been, but a lot of people at home, they don't understand.
Who's a bigger target, the VP
The
or Erica
vice
Kirk?
president, and
Yeah.
we know this from experience. When the president came to our other building, guys, they come Secret Service weeks beforehand. They push buttons to make sure there's no freaking bombs. It's insane. They put tarps. This is the number 2 guy in charge in the free world. So when the vice president shows up, everything's locked down. Top level security. So he's safe. How is her life in danger? It doesn't make sense. And mind you, this place, the story doesn't hold up. Now let's look at really what happened. The turnout was weak. If Rob, you could show the video, you don't have to play the audio from the other side. That's the audience. Less than 25% capacity. Allegedly, apparently there was free tickets, so nobody showed up. And that's the bigger problem that nobody wants to admit. Young men aren't even showing up anymore. Not even for the vice president. And he's a young, he hangs out with, Theo Vaughn. He's on the podcast. They're talking about cocaine. That should tell you everything that you need to know. This is not just a bad night. This is a signal. So let's stop pretending. I want everybody out there who understands. God rest his soul, and I love this guy to death. Charlie Kirk, you are not going to replace Charlie Kirk. I don't care. The Charlie Kirk show, they have the empty chair, and these guys are just talking. You're not going to replace him. And we're seeing it. I don't even care. Ben Shapiro was on a couple days after. He's like, I'm going to carry the torch, and I'm going to help. No, you're not. You cannot replace this guy. And I think, Pat, now the time coming where they're like, Erica's fire, and I get it. She was there for a second. It's just they're losing it. They're losing these young guys because there's nobody that has that fire and that message that Charlie Kirk had. So that's my take.
I feel horrible for the Kirk family. There's not a lot that I'm like, I'm going 10 toes down on this, but I'm going 10 toes down on this. Here's what I predict. Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. You might have questions of motives and if other people were involved. At the end of the day, they're going to find Tyler Robinson guilty. And if I'm wrong, I will come back here on the show and say, my bad. Erica Kirk did nothing wrong. She's a loyal and faithful wife. And what she's going through after the assassination and murder of her husband, what she's had to put through is disgusting. And that's the best word that I could give. Horrible. They have 2 kids, children that are never going to spend time with their father. And meanwhile, people are vilifying Erica. You can question whether she's wearing mascara, and you can question her choice of jewelry or glitter or theatrics or why she's business. You can ask all those questions. But to accuse her of killing her husband, accusing her of being happy that her husband is dead, accusing the Turning Point people of being joyful that their leader and founder is gone, to me is so self-serving and disgusting. I can't even imagine. And I hate to even draw this comparison. God forbid anything happened with PBD. You had a knee injury. All I can think about is PBD, how's your knee? When PBD loses his voice, you go, Pat, how you doing? You need some tea? What's going on? Hey, Pat's a pretty crazy freaking driver. You know I am about driving. How many years did I say, you need a driver, bro? How many years did I say, you need a driver? Because I understand he's the golden goose. Charlie was the golden goose of Turning Point USA. To me, it's nonsensical and downright stupid to think his internal team and his wife would want to see him go. Hold on.
Okay.
To me, it's so stupid and laughable. And I really encourage people to do better out there and do anything. You might not support them, but don't go out of your way to ridicule, condemn, and outright hate them because you don't like Erica Kirk's makeup or how she's acting today. If you had someone that you're married to, a famous person that was assassinated and murdered in front of you, then you can speak. Until then, take a seat.
But to the point of the story, her saying that there was a credible threat, and then Secret Service is saying, no, there wasn't a threat.
I don't know.
Hold on. No,
To
hold
me,
on.
this is noise
No.
in
This
the
is
signal.
wait, no. This
Sure.
is the story.
Okay.
The story is somebody's lying. Either Erica Kirk is lying or the Secret Service is lying. Number one. Number two, if God forbid this guy died, I'm telling you right now, that would not say PBD podcast. Well, there's no way we're doing the PBD podcast without PBD. I'm sorry. That chair is not going to be empty and we're going to sit here and just keep talking. No, that's my opinion. I don't think that that's right. I think you guys call it the TPUSA podcast and put Charlie's face in the back like a mural.
Let me ask PBD one question. And maybe you would know. I don't know what the conversations you've had with Charlie behind the scenes. And I've had many conversations with Andrew Colvin and Charlie. I mean, what kind of legacy, succession planning, insurance planning do you think Charlie had? What kind of conversations? He's not a business guy. He's not a financial guy. He's not an insurance guy like you are. No, he became a business guy. But eventually, Pat's been doing this. What do you think Charlie had in place? What kind of planning do you think he said?
I don't know. Here's what I would tell you. Historically, if you study living trusts and estate planning, Rob, can you pull up a list of celebrities and billionaires who had no living trust and estate planning? Okay, just if you go through a list of names,
Of course.
Billionaires?
you
know these names.
Vinny, when I tell you how
Jackson,
long
Brown,
the list is,
Joe
it's
Robbie.
unbelievable. There was a poster made in the insurance industry that was going everywhere from Insurance Newsnet back in the days.
Yep.
Look at that. Prince, $300 million. No will, years of legal battle. Aretha Franklin, no formal will. Not even estate plan, not slats, not living trust. Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, Amy Winehouse, none. No plan. Kurt Cobain, no proper estate plan. Chadwick Boseman, no will. Wife had to go through probate. Chadwick Boseman. Okay, Bob Saget, no will. Norm MacDonald, no will. Estate handled by intestate law. Sonny Bono, no will. James Dean, no will. Mother, look at this. This guy's worth $1.5 billion. Howard Hughes, no will.
Your friend Pablo Picasso.
So I don't know. I think probably things were in place, but to what extent, I don't know. And I'm not going to speculate there. Here's what I will say, Vinny.
Yes.
For me, where I'll go with this is a couple different things. I'm asking every source. Was there Secret Service? Was there a threat? Was there not threat? No threat. Apparently Vance's team says there was. Another Secret Service team says there wasn't. TPUSA says there was. Selective hearing. Pick and choose. Whether you want to say there wasn't, there wasn't. So I don't know that part.
Well,
does it? Let me finish,
sure,
Adam.
sure.
Does it help the fact that the audience wasn't good? No. Does this change optics if the place was full, packed, with room 8,000 people? It would change the positioning. Is she in a place right now that until she sits down and addresses concerns, is she constantly going to be attacked like this for a while? Yes. Who really looked bad, though, at the Turning Point USA event? Only one person looked bad for me.
The vice president.
The vice president. Because to me, What that made Vice President look is that people are not coming to see you. You are one of the who is the top 3 youngest vice presidents of all time, Rob? Who are the top 3 youngest vice presidents of all time in the history of America?
He's up there.
He's up there in the top 3. I don't know who he's going to be younger than him. It's definitely not going to be Joe Biden when he was a VP to Obama. Who is the youngest vice president? I don't know. But something tells me he's probably in the top 3. And you mean to tell me Nixon was 40. Nixon, how old is JD Vance? Can we just ask how
he's in his early to mid 40s.
Okay, so
46, 40.
He's 41.
He's 41?
So he was
I'm older than.
By the way, he was a VP at 40.
Yeah.
Just turned 40. Okay. So you're talking about one of the youngest, he's the 3rd youngest vice president in the history of America. And you cannot draw a bigger audience, okay, to come and want to hear you. You can't. So if I'm on JD's team, I would be calling TPUSA and saying, guys, did you do a better job promoting this? Like, I'm going to be asking that question. So then let's go to the next one, which is even the bigger concern, because here's what you don't want. In this business that you're in the audience gathering business.
Mm-hmm.
When I would go to the event and we talked to the AV team, the guys that we had dinner with at Vegas, if you remember,
guys.
He was there when first time I went to one of his Turning Point USA events. Charlie wanted to show me the event. So he walked me behind. It was open. He says, look at this, and we're going to do this. He was so proud because events are so hard. It is so hard and so taxing, and someone has to care about hitting the numbers and all that stuff. But to me today, TPUSA has a bigger problem because the face of TPUSA doesn't draw an audience.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing else that's going to draw an audience. How many times are people going to be sitting there saying they'll go to one event? Like imagine the day, Jobs died. We mourned. Boom. People moved on. Reagan died. You mourn. People. What's the reality of it when we die? Can you imagine if I die and I tell all of you guys, hey, every day I want you to come to the cemetery and mourn the loss of my life.
Every day.
Don't you think that's a little weird?
Of course.
Why would that be a little bit weird?
Because we have lives, we have things that we have to do.
You guys got to move on.
Yeah.
You got to, as important as we think we are, hey, like this, you're here, you're gone. People have things they got to do, Tom. People have things they got to handle. People got to. So what is the brand now? Is it every time coming and it's like, wow, amount of pain? People are not going to come to that over and over again. They're not. This is why people have one funeral. And even the Bible says what? When we die, like dust, you're gone, right? What happens?
Dust in the wind.
Yeah. So to me, a part of this, just yesterday, I'm talking to Tico, and last night he's in bed with us, and Jennifer's like, babe, you got to go to your bed. And I'm like, babe, it's our little boy. Let him just say, babe, this guy's, last thing he is a little boy laying in there and just.
Taller than me now.
He's taller than you. But he's talking about Charlie last night.
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about Charlie last night. It's a thing in the family. But to me, TPUSA has a problem today to rebrand of where it's going to next. If it's going to be a CPAC, well, then great. Rebrand to be in a CPAC type of thing where people come up and they speak and they do. And this year, CPAC's event wasn't the craziest event this year. CPAC didn't have a crazy event this year. It wasn't like the best event that they had, and so, but we need CPAC to succeed.
Of course.
We need TPUSA to succeed. You need a place for kids to go to. But if they keep going like this, and another video, and like when you're winning, the moment you lose, vultures are waiting to show the world that you're losing.
Yeah.
They can't wait. God forbid a little bit change. Did you see? And haters want to celebrate that.
Mm-hmm.
TPUSA as an organization can't be sitting around right now thinking everything's going to work out and people are going to keep showing up for, just because they're going to show up. They're not. The market's moving, and those kids have gone to another man that they're listening to, or different men and women. So unless you think it's just going to be Andrew, you think it's just going to be, no, you got work to do. So I'm more talking from the business standpoint, and I'm more talking about JD. I'd be having a conversation. This has not been the best 6 weeks for JD.
Yeah.
If you think about 2028, it's not been the best 6 weeks for JD. Okay, you're not drawing an audience. You hopefully, if he goes and closes the deal with Iran, that could be a first victory that he's been desperately needing in a long time. You know, it's a lot of different things that's going on. But one of the comments he did make at the TPUSA event was a question that was asked about the Pope. And Rob, I don't know if you have that clip or not. Vance tells Pope Leo to be careful. Okay. Holman says, leave politics alone. Is that the clip, Rob, that he's being asked? Which clip is that when Vance tells Pope Leo to be careful?
No, that was a different clip. Let me grab it real quick.
But is it around the same context, around the same story, or?
No, the clip I had was him explaining why Erica Kirk was not in attendance.
Okay, so then that's not the same clip. But as you're going in, as you're going and you're seeing what's going on here, the president, when the Pope, go back to the quote. Let me see what the quote was. If this is the same clip, be careful. But once, yeah, go ahead and play the clip. This is it. Go for it. It's the same one.
When the Pope says that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword, there is more than 1,000-year tradition of just war theory. Okay. Now we can of course have disagreements about whether this or that conflict is just, but I think that it's important in the same way that it's important for the Vice President of the United States to be careful when I talk about matters of public policy. I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology. And I think that one of these issues here is that there has been hey, random dude screaming, I told you I'd respond to your point. I just want to respond to this question first. But I think one of the issues here is that if you're going to opine on matters of theology, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure it's anchored in the truth. And that's one of the things that I try to do. And it's certainly something I would expect from the clergy, whether they're Catholic or Protestant. Now, to number one,
so look, this is my position on this. What do I think the Pope needs to say? Like, you know, and who am I to say what the Pope needs to say? But what would I like to hear from the Pope? You know what I would like to hear from the Pope? Nothing. No war. That's not a what do you call it? A
controversial point.
No, I hope that's what he's saying. Yeah. You know, I'm not. Can you imagine if the Pope is like, let's go slay him?
Yeah, right.
I don't want to hear that from the Pope. You know, some of us that are super, like whenever I'm with my pastor, I know what my pastor is going to tell me. Hey, are you spending time with the family? Okay. Can you imagine if the pastor says, you got to work harder? Yeah. You got to go work 100 hours a week. The pastor's like, hey, go spend time. Hey, go open up the Bible. Hey, go to church. That's the job to say that. Okay. So I'm not somebody that doesn't understand the position that he's got. And then the criticism, handle it. You know, with what Trump's got to do. Whenever you choose to become a president, it's not everybody's job. But to me, on the JD side today, with what's going on, it's going to be interesting how he's going to maneuver going into 2028. I'm actually really curious as a case study to see how he's going to handle that part. Because it's interesting, right? He is with TPUSA, Erica Kirk, audience comes, but then on the other side, he has a group that's on his side that's non-interventionist, isolationist, and then the other side, you know, this is going to be 2028. Vinny, as a guy that just loves to see competition, I am just so curious in how all these guys are going to be maneuvering.
Can I ask you one question real quick?
Of course.
What is the percentage that you think that JD Vance does not run in 2028 and let this all fall on?
He has to run. I think he has to run.
So what's the percentage of him not running?
He really is that talented, though. He's that talented and formidable. The problem, what he's doing right now is if he's not too careful. See, Charlie was talented extremely, but he wasn't like this. Charlie was like loose. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, JD's a little bit like this.
30, yeah.
He's a little bit like and Trump's not like this. Trump is a little bit like himself, right? So I don't know if this goody two-shoe type of and by the way, great story upbringing that he has, but what he had to overcome in the book that he wrote, all of that. It's a phenomenal testimony, but he has to run. There's no way in the world. It's a less than 10% chance he doesn't run for me.
Less than 10.
Oh, yeah, he's going to run.
Less than 10% he doesn't run. Because there is still so many things to happen. But if I'm JD and his team, I'm going to be working with the president to have a few big victories. Because what's JD's biggest victory so far?
Becoming the vice president.
Outside of that, what's the biggest victory so far?
Being in this conversation.
No, but that's not what I'm asking. Honestly, you want to know what the biggest victory is? The way he handled the debate with Tim Walz. It was so beautiful and classy.
Yeah.
The way outside of that, what's the biggest victory? He needs some of it.
No.
He needs some of it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, he's gotten more pull because he's ahead of Rubio, still on the Kalshi polls, but we'll see. Tom, your thoughts on this?
Well, two things. TPUSA is a critically important organization. They help swing the election. Some people say they did swing the election. Charlie personally gave us all the statistics in Arizona about the number of kids that they registered, that they were registered Republicans, and that the math they show that they delivered the state of Arizona in the election. Wow. How many organizations can say they've done that? And he did it for a couple places. And he was up there moving kids into the debate realm to really wonder what they're thinking, why they were thinking. So he was permanently teaching kids how to think and how to think about these things. That is the history of TPUSA. And you touched on it, Pat. My concern is that the succession is not here and people are not coming to it. And so what are you going to be, TPUSA? TPUSA has to find its future without Charlie. Are you just going to be a PAC and collect money from the super donors that have been supporting you and give that to campaigns? That's one option, but who's going to be up at the microphone?
I don't know. Charlie was,
but it's a critically important organization.
One of a kind.
Touched all these kids' lives in a positive way, and they got to figure out the secession path forward. That's my opinion.
So
was very
I think
good
we're all going to be in for a big
de-escalating
disappointment.
and putting people in there.
We've been so lucky over the last 20 years, whether you're Democrat or Republican, to have two of the most consequential
I don't know if you're
nominees.
but I believe that there's more to it now. Tyler Robinson may have been the one, but I don't think he just woke up one morning and said, "You know what? I'm gonna go do this." I think there was some underlying factors there for sure.
These candidates and presidents we've ever seen. Barack Obama, whether you voted for him, like him, dislike him, was a transformational president. Transformational. One of one. Trump, that and then some. What we're about to see in 2026 and midterms and 2028 is a major letdown. Because if you're judging J.D. Vance or Rubio or whatever woke person they come up on the left, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Gretchen Whitmer, you pick a name. None of them, Biden included, are going to have the Obama quality, the cachet, the personality, none of that. And ain't nobody in America, unless the Rock smells what he's cooking, all of a sudden turns into a businessman, is going to be able to duplicate what Trump did.
Look, hey,
so we're judging J.D.
I'm just now kind of coming around, right? I'm not even trying to say that I know everything that's going on. But I will say this, I don't like what I see. I definitely do not like what I see. What's up, buddy?
Vance, Marco Rubio, all these people in the lens of the GOATs. You talk about Charlie's one of one. I think he's one of one. Good luck replacing one of one. Good luck, coming after a Trump. I don't see it's going to happen. So I think, they say this is the most consequential election. 2028, 2020, it's the most consequential election. This might be the most important election because we're not going to have a Trump, maybe. We're not going to have an Obama, Biden. It's people have been there forever. There's going to be all new cast of characters.
Yeah.
But be prepared for a letdown.
Well, let me show a video of what Tucker said about the podcast. This is the video clip that, and by the way, my reaction is going to be separate reaction. I'm going to send the room and tell you my thoughts. But here's what Tucker had to say about the podcast. Is he reacting to the Wednesday podcast or the Monday podcast?
Monday podcast.
Okay, so Monday podcast, the comments that were made, here's Tucker reacting, saying Tucker Carlson calls out PBD for attacking Catholics. Go for it.
Here's Patrick Bet-David on his podcast a day or two ago. Watch this.
I don't know why Catholics, have this issue with Jews. I don't know what it is. They have this, I don't, listen, I get the Jews have issues with Christians and they'll make fun and they'll say stuff like, oh, your Jesus is going to do, they'll say, well, he was a Jew anyways, right?
Yeah.
But then Catholics have that issue with Jews. And they act like, they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centralized power they have. Centralized. If you know what the total Catholic population is worldwide? It's like 1.213 billion. Jews are 15 million.
15 million.
But Jews are decentralized, meaning Jews don't have somebody they listen to that says, hey, you better do this. Catholics, God forbid you say something about the Pope. They're like, hey, man, listen, who is that Pope figure in the Christian community? We don't have one.
No.
If I ask you right now who's the Pope in the Christian community, you don't have somebody to look at. Who is it? Which pastor?
Yeah, exactly.
No, they don't.
We don't have one.
It's an independent network.
It's just the Bible.
So if you look at only Catholics and Muslims have somebody that they look at as their supreme leader, like, you know, you got to go to somebody. But even more, it's Catholic.
Well, there's
Not
only
even-
two theocracies in the world:
Catholicism,
Islam. I'm sorry, the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yep.
And the Vatican.
Yeah.
Those are the two major theocracies.
So actually, the Vatican is very much like the Nazi Iranian government, the theocratic government, the mullahs. It's all basically the same. They've got the complicated dress.
This is
they
where
hate
you
the
play
Jews,
the
as Patrick
divisive,
David just
where
said.
1 minute.
Catholics have a problem with the Jews. A problem with the Jews. It's slander.
Keep going.
It's an attack on the world's largest and oldest Christian denomination, and it's taking place openly.
What a beautiful divide and conquer
And
way
it's
of doing it.
all coming from the same source.
Here we go.
Which is Israel. The issue is
Everything
Israel.
Ends with that.
Here's
for you.
Patrick Bet David.
You can pause it right there. I will react to this. And this is coming from a guy that has been a fan of Tucker for a long time, but I have to set the record straight. And I have an idea I'm going to be proposing to Tucker. I hope he takes it. I don't know if he will. When I react to the video sometime right after this in the pod, reason why I'm doing it myself, I don't want Adam to jump in. Well, let me tell you, I don't want any Adam voice. So that's why I'm doing it separately. So Adam wants to jump in and give his opinion on this. I want to give my opinion. If he wants to independently react to it, he can. I'm going to give my thoughts on this privately in a video clip that's going to go out. You'll see it on X. And for those of you guys that are supporters, react. For those of you guys that are not, tear it apart. I expect both of it. But I will be reacting to this. I've never, ever in my life, when my parents got a divorce and there were guys that knew how to poke each family, they were divisive. Ask anybody that has done business with me who's a friend of mine or an ally of mine we've won together. I don't like dividers. And Tucker in this situation sounds like he's being manipulative and dividing. And I don't like that. Because America's very important to me, very, very important to me. It's the most important country in the world to me. I've been here for a long time. I will react to it extensively with a lot of thoughts I have, and we'll address that. But I wanted to show that clip to you because I know some, oh, yeah, what were you? We were in meetings all day yesterday, but I'm going to react to it. Later on today, the video will go out. Okay, so there you have it. Let's go to the next thing that we have here. I want to show you this one clip that I saw this yesterday. I'm like, this cannot be real, right? And it's happening, Vinny, more and more often with, kids being adopted by gay couples. And this kid has to sit there and understand this is going to be the norm. Now, by the way, Vinny,
yes,
to a lot of people, they think this is very normal and it's okay. And FYI, just about 30, 40 years ago, this was not okay. This wasn't something that was accepted. It's a new thing that's being more and more accepted. And to me, I'm not comfortable with it. I think it creates too much risk. We don't know for a fact what these men are doing. We don't know everything about them. How much can we go investigate to feel comfortable to allow them to adopt another boy? But here's a clip that went viral a couple days ago. Is that the fellow in the video, Rob? Shane McAnally?
Pardon me, sir?
That's his last name.
McNally?
McAnally.
It actually is McAnally. You're right.
Guys, what
you're right.
wrong?
I mean, if we're going to be honest, I swear to you,
I mean,
McAnally.
No, guys, I don't know why you're...
Guys, let's just call
Rob
him
is
Shane.
laughing like I did this on purpose. I'm pronouncing what I was... Okay, let's just call him Shane. Go ahead and play...
Unbelievable.
Play the video. Watch this. Mama.
No, mama. Do you want dada or pop?
Oh, man.
Who do you
I'd be
want?
pissed right now.
Dada or pop? No. Do you want dada? You want pop? No way, Jose. I think. Oh. There is no mama.
Oh my God, man.
Bro,
Goodness.
bro.
You have dead
Bro,
dad.
jeez.
You have pop. Two choices. No mama.
Oh man.
Oh, this breaks my heart. This is
No mama. Dada or pop. No. Who do you
okay,
Oh,
Benny.
man.
I don't know if I don't know who can watch that and not feel disgusted.
Let me
that
just
these
read
guys
this.
are-
It says 2 gay men in Nashville are sparking nationwide outrage after recording themselves mocking the baby they had via surrogacy as it cries for its mother. And obviously, we saw the rest. Go ahead, Benny.
Okay, Pat, this is a newborn wired by God to want his mom, and instead of comfort and he's getting mocked like it's entertainment, and that's the part that pisses me off. Okay, then they go on online calling it their kid. They went online and saying it's homophobic, like the kid is homophobic, like that's funny. And then you got people in the comments cheering him on like it's normal. All right, it's not normal. It's twisted and it's disgusting. And I said this before, Pat. I was on your side the first time that we did it.
We
I
were
don't
in
res-
Vegas when we talked about it.
Exactly. I don't respect the idea of people going out and buying kids like it's a transaction. Okay, if you're gay and you chose that lifestyle that you cannot create, and now you want to go around acting like you can replace that, like a child biologically and spiritually wired to need like the mom, you can't. You gave up that right. Okay, that's the life you chose. Stay in your lane. All right. And that right here proves what I'm talking about. The baby is crying for his freaking mother. And instead of being held and loved and nursed, they're laughing at this kid. Okay. And you're filming it and turning it into content. That's evil behavior. I don't care how you want to look at it out there. You want to be like, oh, everybody, no, it's evil. All right. And the baby the part that should scare people the most is not even them. It's the thousands and thousands of people clapping for it online. Okay. Defending it, acting like this is freaking progress. And that's how you know something is broken at the core of this culture. The child didn't ask for any of this and he's stuck with it. And I think that's the part that everybody out there that heard this, I almost had to take my headphones off hearing that kid cry. That should piss you off. And if you're not pissed off, then I think there's something off with you, period.
Adam.
Look, the most important thing here is kids need loving homes. And, we had this conversation before. And if you look at the data, the most important thing that kids can have is a nuclear family with a mother and a father, without a doubt. So I think in theory, it sounds good, meaning, yeah, of course, if we get a baby in a home with the family, with the kids, even if they're gay, let them take care of the kid. And I get that in theory. But when you watch a video like that and a baby's crying out for their mom, whatever side of the equation you are, move the politics, move all the nonsense, and just be like, the baby is calling for her mom, for its mom. And that hits. So there's a difference in theory and practice. In practice, that baby needs a mom. In theory, let's make sure that the babies have a great family and a great upbringing and loving parents. And of course, but that hurts. When you see that, and I don't think the guy was mocking the baby. I think
you saw online, he called him homophobic. He put a photo of him and said he's homophobic.
Who did?
The guy, Rob, can you fact check? Make sure this guy's post, Adam, he was because the baby was crying, he was jokingly saying he's homophobic. Adam, you're recording that interaction. You're doing it to get people to laugh and mock this kid because I think that's absolutely disgusting.
I think mocking.
6 weeks homophobic baby. That's him on the right, Rob?
Who wrote that? Who wrote homophobic baby?
Go back, Rob. What does it say? The internet's fuming, laughing at their surrogate. They've also posted videos on their Instagram calling their 6-week-old son homophobic to their audience of 140,000 people.
Hold on, back up. Are you saying that the two dads
they've posted
videos calling their
of their 6-week-old son
baby
that there is possession?
Homophobic?
Yes, because so you're mocking him and you're laughing at him, and that is disgusting and it's evil, bro.
It's a weird situation, man. We've seen. Do you remember there was a video of two dudes in beards?
Yeah, one of
on
them.
an airplane?
One of them was in trouble. One of them got arrested. That guy for some sexual stuff with young kids. Oh yeah,
Tom,
this
where
is
you
a
at with
tricky
this?
conversation.
Tom.
Man. This is not good.
Look, you can debate all the lifestyle and all that stuff, and I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to go to one
Fuck,
place.
no, you ain't gonna go there.
What is the
Hey,
natural
motherfucker.
response of that human baby? And it's looking for a mom. And There is
Hell
a natural
yeah, Jack
order
Rabbit.
and there is a natural response that is built into us and it's knitted there by God. And what we want and how we respond to it, how we respond to the strength of a father, to the nurturing and the sweetness of a mother, and it's natural. And that is the part that you cannot debate. There is no way to look at that child that knows nothing and just see its natural, normal reaction.
Are you going?
And
Are you going, bro?
And I have a problem with these adoptions. I have a big problem with these adoptions. And people can say, "Oh, you're homophobic," and like that. No. I don't deny anybody's rights. Their rights to work and all the things to do that. I don't. That's not where I'm at. But I do not believe it is natural that this adoption and these types of adoptions are natural. This is not the way the kids are reacting, and I got a problem with it.
Now, how do you feel? Because I saw your face. How do you process something like that? And this isn't the first. I keep seeing this.
This is not me. I'm not good with this. I'm very uncomfortable with this. I looked at the charts of what happened to us with this. America as a nation wasn't open to this idea. Rob, I'm going to send you this Gallup poll. We've talked about this before. By the way, 50 years ago, it used to be like in the tens of percentage of support for this. Look at Gallup, just the last 30 years, Rob, if you want to pull this up. Okay, zoom in a little bit if you could. Most Americans say same-sex couples entitled to adopt. Okay, clear majority, 63%. Okay, and Gallup's been tracking this for a while. Go a little bit lower. Do you think same-sex? Look at 1992. 29% said yes. And now it's 63%. Look how it flipped in 2003. It's really when the flip happened, 2003. And then gradually kept going up and up and up and up, right? And by the way, if you go in the 70s or 80s, you should see where this poll was at. There's been a real effort to want to do this. Now, the argument that's made sometimes, they'll say things like, what's better? A wealthy gay couple taking care of a kid versus adopting a kid versus, them staying in a foster home. Which system would you be in? Well, this is not adopting a kid.
Well, first off, you got to have some points. Like, you need to know whether or not how many kids get sexually assaulted in homosexual fucking homes. There's got to be some kind of data. You just can't ask a blanket question like that without doing no kind of research behind it.
It's a surrogacy, which means I'm paying you to do this. So it's a business. Mm-hmm. Those are two different stories, right?
You bought a kid.
Yeah. But I'm not comfortable with it. Nothing about this makes me feel comfortable. It never will. It never will. I think we have to protect our kids. And, I'm not comfortable with the story. Nothing about it.
And because you listen, and God bless you. You chose that life. Do you?
Yeah.
You give up. You don't want to have, you're a gay couple. Gay couples can't have kids. So now you're going to pay for this kid and then ruin that kid's life. That kid's going to be so confused. Mama, where's mama? Dada? Wait, what do you mean? Who are these people at the house? What's going on? What's that noise in it?
It's all political.
I don't like it at all, bro.
Political.
That really bothers me.
It's all political because people are uncomfortable to give the opposing argument because God forbid, if you do, you're going to be judged and say, you're a homophobic, you're this, you're that. I really could care less what you think about. If I have certain values that I follow those values. You don't like those values? Totally get it. To each his own. But these are my values, and my values are built on conservative values, being a Christian kid, atheist for 25 years, and then seeing how rough life was. And, the story comes out here, and I'm going to read this story. More young men say religion is very important to them. New York Times is writing this story, April 16th. What do you mean more young men? Yeah, more young men. Rob, play that clip. Watch this.
Ages 18 to 29 are embracing faith. 42% say religion is very important in their lives. That is a 14% increase from just the previous year. And I saw it firsthand while visiting St. Joe's Church here in New York City.
Time with God is so crucial, especially if you want to build a better life for yourself and really gain that fulfillment you can't seek anywhere else on this earth.
The church was packed for Mass with young people putting their faith in God first. And those are your headlines, guys.
Good.
That's amazing. It is nothing but positive.
Vinny.
That's besides the other story that I want to do, Pat, the hero story. This is the best headline I've seen in a while. That is such an inspiring thing that these young men, I think it's just everybody in general, they're realizing. And I think a big part of it, remember how they always used to say that technology was going to ruin everything and the world was going to end? And I get that part with the internet, but people are being able to dig and find out. And I think the more you dig and the more you do research and the more you talk to people, theologians, and you go back to the Bible and everything adds up. And that book is such an amazing book, Pat, because now you could find out, because there's proof of every single thing from the Old Testament that led up to the New Testament and Jesus Christ being here. At the end of the day, put all the noise, all the false prophets, all that aside. Jesus Christ was here and they predicted him coming here. I believe it was Isaiah chapter 53, Tom, where Isaiah, hundreds of years, almost 1,000 years before Christ was even thought of to the people, he said he was going to come here, he was going to die for our transgression, he was going to be pierced, and he was going to die. They predicted Jesus Christ coming, and there's so many other points. So it's undeniable. The eyewitness accounts, people saying he was in the tomb, he was dead, I saw him die, and 3 days later he came out, and there was 500 eyewitnesses. And then with Thomas showing up, and the tomb is open, and he's like, he was like, I'm not going to believe that it's Jesus came out unless I see the wounds. And Jesus didn't talk to anybody, showed up and saw Thomas and goes, hey, Thomas, put your hands in my wounds. So that goes to prove how big the wound was. Put your hands in my wounds. And he said, listen, you needed this to believe. Blessed are those who haven't seen this and will never see this and still believe. And he's talking to you. He's talking to us. And how beautiful of a moment, Pat. This is amazing, because at the end of the day, guys, I don't disrespect everybody's religion, just how we don't disrespect the LGBT, whatever you want to do your gay stuff, do whatever you want to do. When it comes to this, I'm just telling you guys from experience. I'm not trying to play this whole, I know everything. When it comes to Christ, he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and nobody comes to the Father except through me. That's not just a throwaway comment. So I implore people, do your research wherever you're at in spirituality. I'm telling you, the moment you come to Christ, every single thing in my life has turned to positive. Everything. I still sin all the time, but every morning I get on my hands and knees and I say, thank you. Thank you for this life. Help me, fill me with the Holy Spirit. And I'm such 1,000 times better person because of him. Period, Tom. End of story.
Adam.
Listen, there's a lot to be said here. Here's what you see this graph right here? Here's what I'm seeing from this. Number one, religion is declining overall. Is this just in America, by the way? Or is this, I assume this is America. Religion is declining. Less people are going to church. Less people are going to temple. More mosques are being built. Less people are identifying with their Christian faith. Okay. Young people care the least out of everybody. The boomers, you're a boomer. At least they believe in God. And you know who cares the least out of anybody? Young women. Why are young women abandoning God? Why are young men going closer to God? What's going on there? Could it be feminism? Could it be they care more about work rather than starting a family? I think there's a lot of different metrics here. But I think here's what I know. As long as you're not too fanatical and too radical, having God and faith in your life is a very, very good thing. I encourage Christians to go to church just like Vinny's been doing. What I've seen firsthand, how this man become, I would tell all people go to church. I went to a baptism yesterday, Greek Orthodox. Remember I text you?
Yep.
I said, what do you do at a baptism? What do I wear? He goes, wear a huge cross.
Yeah.
I did.
Buy them. I said, buy.
Skip past all that.
Is Islam. The third is Christianity. And you know what the second is? It's tragic.
Atheism.
That's right. Unaffiliated.
Yeah.
Unaffiliated.
Yeah. Especially in the West.
And it makes me sad. Self-reliance and social breakdown is exactly what Revelation promises. And so, Pat, that's the way I feel about it. I feel glimmers of hope when I see this, but it also makes me sad, but also makes me encouraged, because my Bible tells me that this is the way of the world, and we're seeing it right now.
Yep. Our kids are going to have to face this reality, and they're going to have to choose to lead and, go through the process themselves. But it's great news when you hear stuff like this happening, that they're turning to it. Here's a story that just came out. Bombshell expose. Okay, if you want to go back to it, 20 CIA and FBI agents confirmed that Barack Obama and a former CIA director fabricated the Russia hoax, which was then locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade to brainwash voters and discredit Trump's election by manipulating intelligence. Go ahead and play the clip, Rob.
How
Fox
crazy is
News
that?
alert: the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a house.
Hey, and that's the whole reason why fucking damn Obama legalized being able to fucking use stories and shit to fuck with people.
House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election. A month after Trump beat Hillary, Barack Obama wasn't satisfied with his intelligence reporting and ordered his CIA director to create a new assessment of how Russia interfered with the election. This was a highly unusual move. John Brennan handpicked 5 CIA analysts to write the assessment, and they were siloed. None of them knew what the other was doing. And only one analyst was in charge of drafting this report. There was nothing routine about this. And it was a rush job to publish before Trump.
How is this not? And I understand the president is busy. I get it. And God bless Tulsi Gabbard for doing her job. But I am at my wit's end. And I know a lot of people out there that are listening to this, they understand how much more do we need to know for a fact. She said the word. The ex-president conspired. That's a huge, huge label to put. Him and the NSA, John Brennan, Comey, FBI, everybody conspired to try to unseat a duly elected president that we, the people, fairly put into office. Okay. And then they lock it in a safe. It's unbelievable. And if you just go back, Hillary and the DNC got in trouble for the dossier. You would think, okay, whoever wasn't in charge, Pat, put them in jail. And Hillary, you were behind the dossier. Lock her up, like they always used to say. Guess what the fines were, Tom, if you had to guess? Guess what the DNC got a fine? What was their punishment?
$14 for double parking.
$14. Yes.
$105,000 the DNC. And guess what Hillary got? $8,000 fine, and that's it, and we move on. I want everybody that went through that 4 years of just nonsense, CNN, MSNBC, every single body pushed, the relationships lost, the fighting, the family. Dude, I lost friends because they were like, you're stupid, Russia. We can't put anybody in, like, okay, so now that you know this, what is going to happen, Tom? What is actually going to happen? Because people like me that voted for accountability, that voted for all this stuff, that voted for everything that we thought was going to happen, none of it is coming to pass. We're a year and a couple months in. Do you think anything is going to happen? Because you're going to lose me, Tom. You're going to lose me.
No, I don't think anything's going to happen. But now we've heard the truth. America's heard the truth. That's part one. Part two, is something really going to happen? That's a whole different problem we have. What shocks me here is that it doesn't really shock me. I thought Obama was complicit. I thought he was aware. That's what that was my conclusion as a citizen listening to all this stuff over all
initially,
years.
You're saying
that was where it was. Now to hear that he actually gets together with the CIA guy, actually gets together and puts 5 guys on the job, that just kind of floors me. I'm like, wow, because I would have thought normally, like, you look at all the big scandals in history. What is the key to a scandal, Pat? Underlings, to somehow push yourself. Well, I was not fully aware of that. I had so many people on my team. These 2 people were in my office in Denver. I didn't know that was happening. You know, people distance themselves. But to hear that Obama was actually aligned like this, if the allegation brought by Tulsi Gabbard is true, I'm not shocked, but I'm really surprised because I would have thought that he would have kept himself distanced in such a way, plausible deniability, all those things going on. But I believe that this thing was a crock and it was made up for years and years now. But now to hear this is shocking.
And Tom, what's to stop them from doing it again, Pat? What is to stop the system? Because I know we talk about the deep state. As much as you think Trump or whoever's going to be in, there are so many people embedded in our government that hate Trump, that'll hate the left or hate the right or whatever, because it could go both ways. Who's to stop them, Pat, if they don't get held accountable? Like, people have to be put in jail. Or else what's to stop? Because I'll keep going, Pat, and I'll keep doing it. What do you think?
Oh, man, you're going to get me started on this story. So I'll be super quick because I can go forever on this.
Don't go forever, but just give your super quick.
I said I was going to go quick.
Go ahead.
I said that.
Do it.
You already hit me with it. What's your point? I haven't even gone yet. This is a monumental story.
I can interrupt you in just a second.
Tom, I know you can, buddy. This is a monumental story, but it's not going to go anywhere. So
does that piss you off?
It pisses me off, but I also, what I want to do is recommend to the people out there what they should do, because I fell for this thing. We all know this. I'm kind of
no. He's good. Pat
TBD's behind me now.
Hat shopping. Let him go.
Okay, gotcha. I fell for this. I fell for the Russia. I was watching Morning Joe. I was watching Rachel Maddow. I was watching all these shows. Fox News. You can't trust them. Of course, they're going to defend Trump. You don't know what to think, right? I voted for Obama. If you voted for Obama, it was kind of hard to vote for Trump. So you're okay. Now you're rooting for your team. I'm on Team America now. And what a lot of people have to recognize now is that there's the truth and there's going to be misinformation and disinformation by the media, whether it's Iran now, whether it's Israel now, whether it's China now, whether it's the midterms now. There's going to be so much news and so much stuff that's going to come across your feed and your algorithm, and you out there have to do such a good job and say, no, you're not going to control my brain. I'm going to hear what you're saying, and I'm going to filter it out, and I'm going to do my own research. And that's hard to do. Most people won't. But can we all agree at this point that Russia was made up? Can we all agree that if you took your 15th COVID jab, that's probably not going to work out well for you? And the media and certain voices push nonsense to help themselves, but it doesn't help you.
Adam,
how long have you
think clearer?
How long have you turned the page? All Americans turn the page differently. When did you turn the page on Russia and say, "My gosh, this is baloney"?
What was the moment?
Well,
what was the moment that you were like, wait a minute?
Okay, so I'll answer that. But what I'll tell you is this:
it's not a gotcha.
There's no, it's fine. There's still so many people in my life who think Trump is the devil, who think he's the worst person ever, who hate his personality. They hate everything about him. I'd be willing to say there's the Democrats. They hate Trump more than they love America.
I agree to that.
I love America more than I hate anybody. So for me, the Russia thing, it all comes down to being stoic, using logic, and processing information. So for me, it's been obviously a handful of years since I've even thought about this nonsense.
And then
but the bigger thing is there's still so many people caught up in it. That's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, there's a lot of TDS, but I honestly want to know what you think, because I gave you the honest feeling about what I think. For years, I thought it was a crock, and now this kind of surprises me on Obama. How do you react to Obama when you see this now?
Well,
credibly delivered.
What do I
by
think is
Tulsi?
going to happen to Obama?
No, not what's
How
going
do
to
you
happen.
feel?
Does it change any of your convictions or feelings?
I don't know if it was Obama that orchestrated this. I'm sure he was a part of it, but to me, it's the media and the lies and the dissemination that they're going to run with it anyway.
But hold on.
So yes, I'm not on the Obama train whatsoever.
No, the hell with the train. What he's saying is, but she's saying, the director of national intelligence, by the way, this isn't, by the way, she's not going up there because if she says stuff like that, she could get, the government will get sued. She's saying the ex-president that was on the way out literally conspired with a bunch of people to get him out so that Hillary, wrap that around your brain.
Yeah.
Adam, these are the same people, the same type of groups that literally said, oh, this virus came out of a lab, that we own, and then they rushed everything and gave it to us, and guess what Biden did? He signed that pardons that said nobody's going to be held accountable. That is unbelievable to me. That's not America, bro. Because if that was the other way around, what would have happened if Trump did that? If Trump started a fake Russia collusion to get Kamala out if Kamala won, or Hillary. Can you imagine? And they found this information. They're all locked up for the rest of their life. They tried putting Trump in jail for the rest of his life for the fake money, whatever. Mar-a-Lago's worth 50.
The value of Mar-a-Lago.
The value of Mar-a-Lago.
Tax violation.
The lies are
Think
incredible.
about that if it was the other way around. So it pisses me off that nobody gets in trouble, Adam. Zero.
Well,
no jail. Just launch investigation. Write a letter. Look at this new report. She's standing at the podium talking. Put somebody in jail already.
Yeah, this isn't Rachel Maddow or Laura Ingraham from the left and right talking about it. This is Director of National
whether it's
Intelligence
John
coming out
Brennan
with
or Jim.
This is DNI
Comey
coming out.
Yeah. So let me answer your question quickly, and I know Pat wants to move on. To me, remember we had the conversation with what's our buddy with the hair, Viva?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't trust anybody. I'm like, you don't trust anybody? He's like, well, maybe my wife. There's people I trust a little. There's people I don't trust at all. There's people that have a high amount of trust. There's people that I trust the most, but no one has 100%. To me, Tulsi has a high amount of credibility. I trust that what she's saying, but I don't take it as gospel. I'm saying, I hear you. Let's look into this. Just because she said it, I'm not like, well,
no,
she said it.
She has the proof.
I'm going to stop thinking.
They have the documentation that they hid, and we know it's all fake.
And I trust
Put
her.
somebody in jail.
Well,
go to put them in.
Vinny, I love you. You don't just throw someone in jail. No. They have to be.
Of course,
tried.
I get that part. But guess what? If I have proof that you stole this, hold on.
I don't know if you do know that.
No, I do.
Say throw people in jail.
Okay. You know what I'm trying to get at, Adam? If I know that you stole this, hold on. I know that you stole this. Pat, all these guys that work for me, they all have proof, undeniable proof that you stole this phone and you're on camera and you locked all the evidence in a safe. Yeah, go to trial.
Why did you go to jail?
Then you go to trial.
Yeah, go to trial and then go to jail.
You go to trial.
Yeah. This isn't a phone though. This is Adam. This is subverting democracy.
Law and order.
No, I'm not a fan of it at all.
Let me tell you, when the day comes when the Dems take over White House, you're gonna see a list of people getting arrested.
Yep. Day one.
A list of people getting arrested. They did it to a president, and that's never happened before. And no matter how much people criticize Trump, if Trump really wanted to make Clintons, Obamas, Hillary's, their life a living hell, he could do it, and he doesn't do it. Isn't that kind of interesting when you think about it?
Of course.
The guy's got the power to make their life a living hell, and nobody would say anything. Nobody would question him. You know why they wouldn't question him? Guy's got a mugshot.
Yeah.
He became a president after having a mugshot.
Yeah, and still to this day, that's one. They went. Your president's a convicted felon. Yeah, motherfucker. I'm sure he is. That's still one of their main arguments to this day.
Went into his house at Mar-a-Lago, went through his wife's drawers with her panties there. And you want, this guy doesn't have all the right and moral authority to go retaliate, and he doesn't? I don't know, man.
I'm with you.
There's hey, whoever's watching is, whether you voted for this guy or not, whether you like him or not, somebody went through your wife's drawers with their panties in there. What do you want to do to that guy? Go ahead. What do you want to do to, how would you retaliate if you had all the power all of a sudden? They humiliate you in front of your wife, your kids, they try to take all your money away from you, your grandkids, everybody. How? And then imagine you all of a sudden are the most powerful man in the world. How would you retaliate? Go ahead. Go ahead to all the noble people out there.
Yeah.
How would you retaliate?
Great point.
Would you not go out there and then people forget because he doesn't bring it up? Well, you know, how come he doesn't want to investigate who tried to kill him? Why doesn't he want to go deeper into that? Why doesn't he want to investigate this? These are all questions that I ask. But you know what's like the weird thing is maybe to him, like he knows he can destroy your life, but he doesn't want to do it. Maybe it's that. I don't know. You got to ask the question, because when these types of stories are coming out and this guy doesn't want to do anything, it's the weirdest person in the world to give a little bit of a sprinkle of nobility to. Most men wouldn't be able to do it. And I know a lot of good Christian men who are very value and strong people that if somebody like that did something to Kim, I don't know what Tom would do.
I have an idea.
But I know Tom's bone on the inside, the vengeance. I know what Tom could do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy that's known as the guy that you were afraid of having access to the button, and he doesn't want to retaliate to these guys. He doesn't want to get. You know, if he really wanted to he can get Obama to get a mugshot.
Yes, he could.
He could do it
100%.
So, but here's the
question.
The question is, why doesn't he do it? He has all the right to do it. Ask the question, why doesn't he do it? Maybe he loves America. Maybe he doesn't want to see it crumble. Maybe he wants the world to see. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe he's busy. Or maybe he's afraid. What's he afraid of? They publicly humiliated you.
His whole family.
Your family, your kids. You have all the right, especially for people that say, well, the guy didn't put his hand on the Bible. And what does he say? He says, I don't know if I'm going to go to heaven. Right? Guess what? He can retaliate and seek vengeance. And if he's not a man of faith, you don't have anything to worry about. It's not like you're living by a principle. Go to that argument if you want to go that extreme. I don't know, because if you became the president and they did this to you and your wife, what's the first thing you're doing when you get into the White House?
The first thing I'm saying is I want all investigation, go and find, by the way, I want proof. Show me
he's got proof. He got proof out of Atlanta that they did it. And maybe it was just enough to vindicate what he was. Maybe he's holding on to this for right at the midterms so he can show everybody. That way, it's like that bullet, you know what I'm saying? Takes a bad fucking press coverage and turns it into something good. Maybe it'll bring his approval rating up because people think that he got fucked.
Proof that they actually did it.
And once I waste it now,
I'm indicting everybody and I'm rushing everything. I'm not doing wait 6 months down the road. I'm putting everybody in court and I'm doing it ASAP. You could rush it through the system.
The reason, this is what, here's the part though.
I think that's
so
really
let's
what
role play.
it is.
And I don't know how to run this poll, but I'd love to see what the smartest audience in the world is PBD Podcast. You know why? Because you guys you'll agree with us, disagree with us, all this stuff, but you're the best in the world. I'm telling you guys right now, if you're watching this, go like this to yourself.
Pat yourself on the back.
There's something special about you.
And a certain thing, do this to yourself.
But this is the question. This is the question. What is the likelihood when Trump is out of office, he's going to give everybody a pardon? He said it.
I know he did.
He has to, because they tell you, what did they do after first term?
Coming after you.
He's going to do it, right? What's the likelihood they're going to try to dismantle, destroy everybody in that family to never be able to run again? What's the chances?
Very, very high.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So you think he knows that?
Yes.
Okay. If he knows that, why is he seeking vengeance?
Wait, do you think why
why isn't he seeking vengeance?
I mean, that's the question that I'm trying to figure out.
Why isn't he seeking vengeance?
So they don't come after them hard?
No, I think he already knows they will. Like he didn't,
There's there will be no talking them out of it.
Rob, how many pardons did he have the first term? I thought the number was like 250. I don't know I could be fully way off the number. What was the pardons on first term? How many people did Trump pardon? Yeah, exactly. Pardons first term,
brother.
What's the number?
He's
I don't remember it being a big number. 144, 238. There you go. I was about right. So yeah. So 238. How many did Biden pardon?
Was it 1,400?
Way bigger number.
I thought it was 2,200. Like there's two numbers to it, because apparently the big
his whole family too.
Yeah. Well, the entire state of Delaware. There you
go. Look at that. 4,245.
Wow. Communications part.
Okay. Versus what was Trump's go up? Trump's was what?
So it's 2% of what he did.
I mean, do you realize
2%?
But you know what Trump's going to do? If this is the model, I have to pardon everybody.
He said, "Yeah, I agree."
Heck, Manek the president and say, "Mr. President, can you pardon me? I'm Vincent Oshana. They may not like my jokes in 10
coming
years."
after me.
President Trump's on Manek.
But to your question,
you can't pay officials. Officials got off.
To your question, why isn't he?
I don't know. To me, the question is a deeper question to ask why he's not. The only reason I would see it is this back and forth is not good for America. It's just not. It's not. It's okay. Debate the issues, call it out, do all that stuff, but to label him as to put a mugshot and you're a criminal and all this other stuff, I
appreciate.
Well, this time around, you're saying why he's not as vindictive?
I don't know. I think this is the greatest idea they ever came up with, the greatest country in the history of mankind, the greatest company. The ideas they created to have a, brand spanking new startup, beat a couple empires, China and Iran and Persian Empire, that have been around for thousands of years, for it to become where it is today. You have to protect this. You have to protect it. And there's many people that want to see this thing fall. Many people that want to see this thing fall. And we'll see. He's got a lot of burden on him, but he's doing his thing. Gang, great being with you guys. If you haven't yet ordered a Faith Over Fear, there's not a big supply on this. It takes us 3 months to get these hats in. And if you haven't yet placed the order, buy a handful of them, buy 10 of them, give it away as a gift to people. We got a big announcement that's coming up here soon as well. The biggest announcement we'll be making here very soon, but I'm excited about that. But having said that, if you haven't yet placed the order, go to vtmerch.com, order your Faith Over Fear, one for yourself and a couple others to give to everyone else. With that being said, have an incredible weekend. We will do this again on Monday. God bless everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Let's see what our ladies and gentlemen are talking about.
Everything's
We're almost there.
The Great Northwest became one dream.
Well, I
Ladies
wish they
and
put
gentlemen,
some more land
everyone's
man back
favorite
on.
Republican House representative, a woman who goes by the name of Anna Paulina Luna, has just gone absolutely scorched earth on the rhinos in Congress, namely Senate Leader John Thune, all of whom are actively working against the Save America Act, trying to prevent the Save America Act from getting passed and really prevent the United States from having safe and secure elections. In fact, take a look at this. Anna Paulina Luna posted just this morning. At this point, Senate Leader Thune is hiding behind the Democrats to block the Save America Act. At the end of the day, he won't be able to blame the Democrats for his failure for this failure to get this passed. He is fully capable of making it happen now, yet he still refuses. It's getting old, she says. She goes on to say, John Thune is blocking voter ID. Point blank. She's just laying it out there. And you know what? She's right. Very clearly, Anna Paulina Luna has had enough of the political theatrics, of the virtue signaling, of the anti-American antics, and really of the excuses. I think we've all had enough, because that's not all. Just this morning, Anna Paulina Luna actually sat down for an interview during which she absolutely unloaded as it pertains to this entire subject. Take a listen.
Let's take that a step further. I mean, Republicans control the House and the Senate. Why can't they get the Save America Act, which requires evidence that you're an American and ID to vote?
John Thune is the problem. I do not like what he's done because he has every ability, and really it's him that's blocking voter ID. He has every ability to embrace the standing filibuster or remove the filibuster. Democrats are going to do it anyways. And by the way, the current form of the filibuster is a perversion of what it initially was.
Yep.
But there's this position in the Senate that people are, they need to protect the institution. I get protecting the institution, but let's also talk about what the institution's become.
Is John Thune weak?
I think John Thune is doing the wrong thing. I don't know if I would necessarily say weak, because he's clearly stubborn. He's not doing voter ID, but he can't honestly blame the Democrats for this because he's the one in control.
Yep.
And so what I would say, and what I've continued to say, is it's John Thune blocking voter ID. I'm trying right now. We have FISA up for a vote this week. I'm trying to do everything I can to get voter ID onto FISA, but I'm having to work against my own party to do that. And I'm just one person, and it takes multiple votes to do that. Yes, FISA needs reform, but I think the number one most important issue in the country right now is voter ID. And if we can't deliver on that, then people like John Thune do not deserve to come back to Congress. Vote him out.
Ooh.
He's not up for re-election, but when it's time.
When it's time, if he can't push this thing across the finish line, vote him out. And you know what? I think a lot of us feel the same way. But you know what? At this point, Anna Paulina Luna is not the only actual Republican in Congress who's had enough. Take a look at this. senator in the Senate, Mike Lee, says this yesterday morning. He says, I've seen enough. I've heard enough excuses. We cannot let the Democrats sabotage this country. He says, if nuking the filibuster is the only way to deliver on wildly popular legislation like the Save America Act, then we need to nuke the filibuster and start passing bills. Absolutely true. But you know what? There's something else I want you to take a look at, because he then went on to say this. He posted a video similarly yesterday afternoon. He says the status quo in the Senate doesn't work. We have exactly two choices. Either one, enforce the talking filibuster, or nuke the zombie filibuster. Let's see what he says.
For years, many have operated under the assumption that in order to get anything through the Senate, you have to have 60 votes. In many cases, that's effectively true, but it oversimplifies the issue. And it also ignores the fact that obstruction under the filibuster and the 60-vote cloture rule have grown so severe that we can't even get basic things done. Things like the funding of the Department of Homeland Security and the passage of the Save America Act, something that Americans overwhelmingly support. We're stuck. And when you're stuck, you got to try something new. And that's why I'm increasingly of the viewpoint that we've got exactly two choices. We can either start enforcing the talking filibuster, make them speak if they want to debate, or alternatively, we're going to have to nuke it. The status quo doesn't work. The American people deserve more. They demand something better. We've got to deliver it to them. Let's get it done.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think at this point, everyone, all of us, have had enough of all of this anti-American rhino behavior. He most certainly has. Anna Paulina most certainly has. You either put America first or you get out of the way. Really, those are your two options here. In fact, I know more people feel similarly about this. Take a look at this. This is from the Katie Miller podcast. This is Stephen Miller's wife.
Do you think Congress should do more to ensure that only Americans vote in American elections?
100%. At Vistaprint, we print signs so people can see your brand up close.
What's the big deal with
So
that?
that people can see your business here. See it here.
I
and see it
honestly
here.
don't get that. Why,
You know,
why
some
is it so
Republicans, they gotta wake up.
such a hard
This is
thing to
not
fucking agree on?
1978, It's not 1990. The Democrats are true radicals, like are radicals. So we got to step up and do what's necessary.
Democrats started by saying voter ID was racist.
Yeah.
Now they're saying voter ID is sexist because they've lost the racist argument. Do you believe that showing an ID to vote inhibits somebody from exercising their right to vote?
No, not at all. You got to show it to get on a plane. You got to show it to get
alcohol.
beer, buy alcohol, buy a house, sign a lease. Like you have to do it to do all those things. I don't listen to the Democrat arguments anymore because they're stupid and they assume that the American people are dumb and ignorant and can't fend for themselves. And I think that's what's really disheartening about their party right now.
Well, and barely any actual authentic, legitimate American citizens want anything to do with the Democrat Party.
Look around here on
This
X.
is why the Democrats have dug their heels in
I'm
so
just
much.
kind
We
of
love
curious
illegal
to
aliens.
see
We need to
what's
open up the border,
what's fucking going
bring in
on.
more illegal aliens, give them free welfare, free housing, loans, government grants, whatever, taxpayer-funded services. We also need to allow them to vote because the Democrats know that if not for their illegal aliens, they've got no one supporting them. Does anybody here know an actual American, legitimate, patriotic American citizen who supports the Democrats these days? No, they're
Every time I get on
entire
X, it
base,
fucking starts
it's
trying to buffer. I
built upon
don't
fraud.
understand that.
It's built upon people that shouldn't even be here. All of that. But, you know, there's something else that I want all of you to take a look at. Because during her interview this morning, Representative Anna Paulina Luna also said something very curious that I think all of you are going to enjoy. Take a look at this.
Do other House members have skeletons in their closets?
Yes.
How many?
I'd say right now there's probably about two House members, likely one senator, But I think that this right now is freaking a lot of people out. And also I think this is kind of something that we've been pushing forward, but we wanted to release the Congressional Slush Fund.
Is this the beginning of a major purge on Capitol Hill?
I think so.
How many members are we talking about?
Well, as of right now, there's probably 3 between the House and the Senate.
3, but there could be more.
There could be more. Yeah. There's always rumors, but rumors aren't always true. It's what's in evidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about members of Congress, both in the House and in the Senate, getting exposed, getting purged. We've already seen 2 of them, one Republican and one Democrat. Swalwell was the Democrat. You know what? Between you and me, maybe this is exactly what Congress needs, a purge of sorts, as she says. Out with the old, all of the old America last Republicans, in with the new America first Republicans. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is our Save America Act update, our Rhino update, the State of Congress update. People are fed up. And you know what? It's almost time to vote here. We've got midterms in what, 6 months, 6.5 months, something like that.
That's what's up. Oh, shit, man. Let's see what Rubio's saying before we take off.
Initiating hack.
Vigil spread throughout the world, but the president's issued his executive order, and we're working through the execution of it. And we'll get to what we need to get to. A lot of this obviously depends, from a legal review standpoint. You have to have certain information that you can cite in order to justify the designation. So we're working through that. We'll have some announcements, and they won't be the last announcements that we have. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Secretary, thank you for doing this today. This conversation between my colleagues and yourself paints a seemingly chaotic and hostile world at times. So very simply and generally put, what do you believe is the biggest threat facing the United States today?
I don't know we live in a world where we have a single threat that we can identify. I think there are multiple things that you look, both short-term and long-term. As I pointed to in the hemisphere, in our own hemisphere, closest to home geographically,
Cuba.
It's the rise and the power of transnational criminal terrorist groups who are destabilizing nation states throughout the region and pose a direct threat to the United States through
It's next. We're going to take. We're going to be
destabilizing these governments,
cigars
mass
by next
migration,
week.
some of the trafficking of drugs, and also providing fertile ground for potential, outside of hemisphere actors to act within our hemisphere in the long term. That's a major threat.
Cuba.
I think we face some challenges, and then we know the United States industrial base, the United States supply chains become dangerously dependent on other countries for many of the things that are elemental and critical to our, not just sustaining what we have, but building the economy of the 21st century. And so building up our industrial base and diversifying our supply chains are a critical threat that the United States needs to confront. I think related to that, not directly related to the Department of State, but somewhat related to the United States, is building of our defense industrial base as well. One of the challenges that we face, and so does much of the world, certainly in the West, is the ability to build weaponry at a scale and scope necessary, not just to deal with the threats of today, but to innovate and develop those tomorrow. It simply just takes too long to build up defense articles, get them to market in a timely fashion. And not only do we complain about that, but we have allies who want to buy things from us that we.
Enough bullshit for today. I appreciate y'all chilling with me. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.